You found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340 WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
We are not live from the Calhouns on the River location, but go check them out anyway. This is Brian Hartman and Bino Jeff Henderson filling in for Tony Basilio, who we're glad to give a week off. He deserves it as we hit the 75% mark of the college football season. Bino, Jeff, it's hard to believe that we're almost done with college football in the regular season for 2025.
Boy, it certainly is, Brian. I don't know why I'm surprised, because it's this way every year. It seems like you're all pumped up to watch the Labor Day weekend games from Friday through Monday, and then the next thing you know, you're preparing for Thanksgiving. That's the way it goes every year. Doesn't seem to matter what kind of football team we have. And I am happy that Tony got an opportunity to take a day to rest a little bit, and it's a pleasure to get an opportunity to talk to you on a football Friday, Brian. That's something I don't get to experience very often.
No, and I'm glad that we don't have to do that too much, but I'm okay with it today. Tony got a big win with the Philadelphia Flyers, beating the Predators last night 3-1. He was in the house in person, so we'll be taking your calls from 11 to 1. We're going to have Mike Hugan in first, though, and then after that, we'll open it up for you. 865-200-5402 is the number. 865-200-5402. We'll be on till 1 today. No overtime. As Bino, what's your slogan when it comes to overtime, Bino? Without Tony?
I didn't work overtime when they paid me time and a half, Bronny. I certainly ain't doing it for free.
Interesting. So on that note, let's take a timeout, and we'll be back to the Tony Basilio Show after this.
Living Vol fan, make Alumni Hall your one-stop shop for all your Vol fans on your shopping list this holiday season. There's nothing better than getting your favorite Tennessee gear under the tree. Picture it, a nice polo shirt, a new hoodie, something for the man cave. Pop in and see my friends at Alumni Hall. Best selection of Tennessee gear. Alumni Hall, 3 Knoxville locations. Bristol, Johnson City, Murfreesboro, or online at alumnihall.com. It's easy to have a big orange Christmas. And happy holidays from everyone at Alumni Hall. The ultimate volunteer shopping experience. Alumni Hall. You got a dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting. Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. When it's time for your next move, you want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Gouffon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Gouffon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years, 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Gouffon Moving and Storage, pro movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial. And we'll provide you with personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' valuables. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gufon Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gufon.com. That's Gufon.com, or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gufon Moving and Storage. Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
TB here with Alan of WeShipFloors.com. Tell them about it, Alan.
Hey, I'm Alan from WeShipFloors.com. Our competition's prices, well, they're going up. Ours are coming down. Our waterproof floor Supercore is the best, and right now it starts at $199 a square foot. Our warehouses are full of 4mm, 6mm, and 8mm. You strapped for cash? Well, we have our own in-house financing. Use our room visualizer and order some free samples today. Supercore from WeShipFloors.com. Best products at best price.
Like Alan said, head over to WeShipFloors.com. Use the room visualizer on the website. Drop in any of the 120 Supercore floors virtually into your room and order your free samples today. WeShipFloors.com. Tennesseans, they are us. The best product, the best price. WeShipFloors.com.
Cold weather is on its way, and keeping your home warm and cozy doesn't have to cost a fortune. Upgrade your HVAC system with Pipe Wrench Home Services and get payments as low as $137 per month. You'll also save on utility bills with a new energy-efficient HVAC system to keep your home warm and comfortable through the holidays. We make it easy with free on-site estimates on replacements and free second opinions on repairs. So call or schedule your appointment online today at PipeWrench.com and get a new energy-saving HVAC system for as little as $137 per month. We are committed to keeping your home cozy and worry-free this holiday season. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. Offer good with approved credit. Some restrictions apply. Visit PipeWrench.com for details.
Thank you very much. 865-200-5402. But hold that right now as we get set to go to Mike Huguenin and Bino, Jeff, and Brian in for Tony. Mike Huguenin, we are reaching the penultimate college football stage of the season, and it seems like the playoffs in some ways are beginning tomorrow. Mike, we there?
Yeah, I can barely hear you though.
Okay. Let me see if I can take care of that. Is that better?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Go right ahead.
So what was the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're reaching the penultimate weekend of college football. We're getting close to that stage, and it feels like, in a way, the playoffs are already starting to begin.
Oh, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that that's the case. I think last weekend's Oklahoma-Tennessee game was a perfect example of that. I think there's a lot of SEC teams jockeying for position. I think in the ACC, it's all about getting to the title game and winning, because I don't think the ACC is getting more than one team. I think tomorrow's Texas Tech BYU game, the winner of that has the leg up in the Big 12, but I can see the Big 12 getting two. And you look at the Big 10, and you're like, okay, Ohio State's good, Indiana's good, Oregon's good. Is there going to be another team? And I think that's the jockeying. You know, Iowa plays Oregon tomorrow. That's a vital game for Iowa, and important for Oregon as well. But I think that the playoffs truthfully start the first weekend of November now, because teams are jockeying for position. A third loss all but certainly knocks you out of the running. The group of five games every week are gigantic. Like tonight's Tulane-Memphis game is monstrous, because I think the AAC champ is going to be the team that gets to the playoff as the group of five team. But yeah, the playoffs have started, and that makes for a more entertaining Saturday every single week, starting the first weekend of November.
Before I go to Bino, the group of five, nobody was ranked in the top 25 college football playoff poll. Do you think that should be revisited? Do you think that a group of five is deserving of getting into the playoffs? And if they do get in, well, they will get in, but can they be competitive?
You know, I think that's a good question. I think that if you look at USF, for instance, which lost to Memphis, they blew the doors off of UTSA last night. That was an incredible performance by USF. They hung, they beat Florida. Florida's not great, but Florida is an SEC team. They hung with Miami for a half before they got blown out. Memphis, they lost to UAB. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I think they can make it entertaining for a half, but I cannot see a group of five team winning this year, because they're going to be the 12th seed. They're going to play the number 5 seed, which almost certainly is going to be an SEC or Big Ten team. And I don't think that the group of 5 team is going to be able to hang this year. But I think in some years it potentially could happen that the group of 5 team hangs tough throughout or even pulls an upset. Not this year, though.
Let's go to Bino. Bino, your first question for Mike.
Mike, staying along those lines, do you think it's going to matter as much when it's expanded to 16, whether there's a true group of 5 team that has earned the right to be in the playoffs?
Yeah, I was under the impression if it goes to 16 that the group of 5 team still gets an automatic bid. It would be extremely difficult, I think, for a group of 5 team to be in the top 16 unless they're 11-1 or 12-0, like Boise was last year. Again, I think that in certain matchups, a group of 5 could win, but it's going to take a group of 5 team with a really high level quarterback and either an extremely potent offense or a pretty solid defense. But if your USF's defense this year isn't good enough, Memphis's defense isn't good enough, Tulane's offense I don't think is good enough this year. but I think in some years it's possible. But I don't. It's going to be a rare occasion. When they go to 16, I think it'll be an extremely rare occasion that a Group of 5 team is ranked 15th or higher. 16th might be the limit for them.
Should there be some kind of stipulation about a Group of 5 team has to be ranked at least in the top 20 to be considered?
See, I'll be honest. Even though I've just spent the last 5 minutes saying I don't think a Group of 5 team could win, blah blah blah, I like the fact that there's a Group of 5 team that's mandated. You're basically, it's like the NCAA basketball tournament. Do you want a 6th team from the Big Ten or SEC, or a 5th team from the Big Ten or SEC, or would you rather a team that's 11-2 or 12-1 get in? And I'm going to choose every time for the 11-2 or 12-1 team, just because I've seen the SEC or Big Ten team lose, and I don't, that is not a title kind of team. And there is at least a little bit of an air of mystery about the Group of 5.
So tomorrow, it's noon. You've got Indiana, Penn State. We'll go with the Tennessee's off, so we're going to go with the noon windows to start off with. And as I look down the schedule, Colorado, West Virginia, that doesn't have anything on it. You've got Georgia, Mississippi State, BYU, and Texas Tech. And the BYU and Texas Tech game is huge. Georgia, Mississippi State, that's huge for Georgia. And Indiana, Penn State. How do you see those 3 games going?
Yeah, I think the clear-cut best game of the day to me is Texas Tech BYU. And I think that's an interesting dichotomy in a way in terms of roster building. Plus, I think it's interesting. If you talk to a Big 12 fan base, not Texas Tech, not BYU, these are the most disliked teams in the Big 12. Texas Tech, I think, you used to, when Leach was there and even when Kingsbury was there, you're like, they're fun to watch. They put up a lot of points, but, they never played defense. And I think, and they never got high-level recruits because they're in Lubbock. And if you've ever been to Lubbock, it's like you go to hell and take a right, and there's Lubbock. There's a lot of those kind of cities in the Big 12. But Texas Tech this year, they have fully embraced NIL, and I think the irritating thing to a lot of fans is not only have they embraced NIL, they're in your face with their embracing of it. And I think people are like, oh, that's a great story. And then for the, by the time week 3 came around, people were like, oh my God, I don't want to hear about Texas Tech anymore. They have really good line play on both sides of the ball because they spent a lot of money. Solid quarterback play, nothing great. I don't think Baron Morton's anything close to elite. They got a nice running back. The defense is good for the Big 12. And then you got BYU, a team that likes to develop from within. They don't need transfers because they got 21-year-old freshmen who've been on 2-year missions, and they come back ready to play football. And I think the religious aspect combined with the nastiness of the fans there has turned off other Big 12 fan bases. But this is an interesting matchup. You got a team that likes to build from within and maybe sprinkle in a few transfers versus a Texas Tech team that has gone full bore into the transfer portal and makes no bones about it. So this is a really intriguing game. BYU's schedule has not been all that difficult. Texas Tech lost to Arizona State when Baron Morton was hurt, and that's a game that Sam Leavitt played for Arizona State, which helped them greatly. But no, this is a fascinating game to me. I think it is extremely important. Also, I think both these teams have a legit chance to get into the playoff. But tomorrow's loser, I think, has a very small margin of error from here on out.
And BYU has been skating in a lot of games where it's how do they keep winning? How do they
That's
keep
true.
doing
And then on the one hand, you're like, oh my God, they are so lucky. And I think there's other people who would say that's the mark of a well-coached team. They take advantage when they need to. They come up with a big play when it's needed. They force turnovers. It's 6 of one, half dozen of another. I think Satake is a good coach. I think he puts a big emphasis on physicality. On the face of it, you take the names off these teams and you look at who they played. You're like, neither of these teams is all that good, and then you realize, well, one of these teams more than likely is going to be in the playoff, and I think they're dangerous in the playoff for different reasons. BYU, the physicality and the experience of everybody on the team, basically, except the true freshman quarterback, and then Texas Tech because they have really good line play. They have a great pass rush. They play really solid defense. They got a running back who's a game breaker. And again, I think that there's an air of for Power 4 teams. I think people look at the ACC and they realize what those teams are about. SEC and Big Ten the same. I still think there's a lot of questions about how good the Big 12 teams are. There's a couple of them are beating up on each other. BYU and Texas Tech have been sort of above the fray, and I'm interested in watching tomorrow and watching the whole game just to see, can one of these teams win a playoff game? I think so, but maybe by tomorrow night I'll have a different take. Maybe, oh my God, one of these teams can win 2 or 3, or no, these teams have zero shot of winning a playoff game. I think this game is interesting on a ton of levels tomorrow.
I'm going to go to Bino to throw out the second question.
Hey, Mike, other than the loser of the Texas Tech BYU game, give me someone that's inside the current college football rankings top 11 that you think will not make the playoffs, and give me someone outside the top 11 that you think will.
I'm not the Oregon-Iowa game tomorrow. Iowa's offense is still, they're all about the run. They've thrown 5 touchdown passes. I mean, good God. It's like, it's a continuation of the same thing under Brian Ferentz, but then you realize, well, actually, they're running the ball really well, their offensive line's playing well, and as usual, their defense knocks the snot out of you. That is an extremely well-coached defense. Phil Parker, if he were not so, I don't know why he's hell-bent on staying at Iowa. That dude is a phenomenal defensive coordinator. He doesn't get elite-level talent, but he gets elite-level results. Oregon, I'm still not convinced they're all that. The game tomorrow is in Iowa City. I've been to 3 games there. That is an awesome atmosphere. Awesome. Fans are right there next to the field. It gets really loud. Plus, it's a tough place to play because it's going to be colder than Oregon's used to. And Oregon's defense, Iowa's defense is going to cause some issues. I think Oregon potentially could lose 2 more games. Dante Moore, he's got a ton of talent. He's still relatively inexperienced. I think this is a dangerous game. Now, again, I have zero faith in the Iowa offense, but Iowa seems to make key plays every game defensively and or on special teams. And as for the team outside the top 11, I'm going to cheat and say, well, I think it's going to be the AAC champ. Because that team is getting in, and obviously they're not ranked. So that's a chicken way of me answering that question. But I like to wait one more week, frankly, to look at the rankings next week and then zero in on a team. But I think Oregon is one that game tomorrow is extremely dangerous for them, especially because it's on the road.
So what about the playoff rankings that you don't agree with? Who should be higher? Who should be lower?
The teams that were ranked this week, none of them really bother me. I will admit to a little bit of surprise. I thought Texas A&M, given the schedule they've played, maybe should have been second or even first. Because you look at who Ohio State's played, and the Texas win, weirdly, 4 weeks ago, Ohio State beat Texas. Who cares? Texas is horrible. And now you're like, oh yeah, Ohio State beat Texas. That's a good win. The Ohio State Penn State last week. Who cares? Because that game it meant nothing. I mean, Penn State's horrible. So I really wonder about the Big Ten, top to bottom, the strength. I think Ohio State is obviously extremely talented. I think Indiana is extremely well coached. And Mendoza is a stud quarterback. But I'm not sure who the third best Big Ten team is right now. I mean, Michigan has a chance to get into the playoff. Iowa has a chance to get into the playoff. No one would be scared to play either of those teams. And I think that's a problem with the Big Ten as a whole. You take out Ohio State, you take out Indiana. I don't think anybody in that league truly scares you as an opponent. I think that's different than the SEC. I think I think Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, all would be sort of scary to play. I think Ole Miss to an extent, just because that offense is so strong. That defense, though, is not very good. But again, I think week one, what it looks like this week will be vastly different than what it looks like the week of Thanksgiving, because I think there's still obviously a lot of interesting games. There's going to be some upsets still, and this is a time of year also, like Bino mentioned. Every week's sort of a playoff eliminator. Some teams and coaches thrive in those kind of opportunities, and other teams are going to spit the bit because we are dealing with 19-year-old sophomore quarterbacks. You got to make a play. You got to make a play. Can he make the play? And sometimes no, they cannot.
Going to the 3:30 window, you've got SEC, A&M at Missouri. A&M a slight favorite there. They're 8-0. They're cruising toward a playoff spot. And then Auburn, Vanderbilt. Is Vanderbilt at 10-2? Does Vanderbilt get in?
I think they will. I don't think they're going to finish 10-2. I'm not convinced of that. Auburn. That's a bad squad. Vanderbilt's going to beat Auburn. I think Auburn will play freer now that Freeze is gone. But their issue is that they don't have a good quarterback. I mean, I saw where Durkin said Ashton Daniels is starting again. Well, Vanderbilt's winning. The A&M Missouri game, the interesting aspect of that to me is A&M annually chokes at least once, sometimes twice. This would be a weekend that they choke because Missouri's down to its third-string quarterback. True freshman. Yes, he was highly recruited, but the dude's barely played. The game's in Columbia, which will make it a little bit more difficult for A&M. But again, A&M really hasn't had its normal stupid play game. And again, this is a team that's known for its stupid play games.
Is this team different?
On an annual basis. So I think A&M wins, but that's a game. If Mizzou has any hope for a playoff, any hope at all, they got to win this game, obviously. Maybe A&M goes in with, they're down to their third-string quarterback. We're playing really well. We can't lose this game. That's interesting just because of that aspect. But I think A&M wins, and I think Missouri ends up finishing something like 8-4 and going to the ReliaQuest Bowl.
So could this A&M team be different?
Can this A&M team what?
Be different.
I think it can. I think Elko, it's interesting. When Mike Elko replaced Jimbo Fisher, I think a lot of people, if you're a casual football fan, I don't even know who Mike Elko is. Why is A&M hiring this guy? Well, I think sometimes the less sexy hire ends up being a great hire. Cignetti's a perfect example of that. I think Elko let's put it this way. What Elko is worried about is vastly different than what Jimbo Fisher worried about. I think Elko is also a guy who, I'm a defensive coordinator. I know that side of the ball. Yet I'm going to hire a coordinator and I'm going to let him do a lot of the work. I'm going to be CEO. I'm also going to hire an offensive coordinator and not put my fingerprints all over it. Colin Klein's done a great job as his offensive coordinator to the point where Colin Klein, to me, seems like a legitimate head coaching candidate. Marcel Reed's playing pretty good football. They got two good backs. They have a phenomenal offensive line. It was supposed to be good, and it's lived up to billing. Defensively, they lost a bunch of guys from last year, but they really aren't missing them. Their secondary can be exploited. I don't know if this Missouri team can do that. This Texas A&M team, they're ranked third in the CFP rankings, and I would argue that they're still sort of under the radar. I think Georgia and Alabama, just because they're Georgia and Alabama, are getting a heck of a lot more attention. Texas is getting a heck of a lot more attention. Ole Miss is because of the Kiffin coaching situation. And Texas Tech's sort of like the car in the left lane that you realize, I was behind that guy 5 minutes ago, and now I can't even see him. He's so far ahead of me. They're going 80 miles an hour, and they're not dropping to 70. They're not going 90. They're going 80, and everything's going fine. But again, the history of this program would lead you to believe that they're going to cough one up that they shouldn't. But I just don't think it's going to be tomorrow.
Bino, I'm going to go to you one more time before I ask some coaching questions.
Yeah, Brian, that was basically what I wanted to talk to Mike about. Is Mike, do you ever remember a coaching carousel that's getting ready to start spinning like the one that we're currently about to witness?
Obviously it's big name programs. I saw, Wisconsin's not making a hire, and that's surprising in and of itself. They're going to keep Fickle. But Auburn, Florida, LSU, that's three pretty good SEC programs. I would argue two of the best five programs, not teams, programs looking for a coach. Penn State looking for a coach. FSU still could be looking for a coach. This is an interesting one, and a lot hinges on Lane Kiffin. Because LSU wants him, Florida is salivating for him. I think if you got a picture of the Florida boosters and put them all together, they'd all be foaming at the mouth if you said Lane Kiffin. He is going to end up as the highest paid coach in college football history when this is all said and done. If he stays or if he goes, Jimmy Sexton's sitting back there counting his money already. But this is a extremely interesting coaching carousel. I'm intrigued by what Penn State's going to do. What Florida's going to do, what LSU's going to do, and I know LSU. We have a school president now, we have an AD now, so disregard what the governor said. Well, the governor's came out and already said, I don't want to see a gigantic coaching contract again. So it's going to be interesting to see that. Plus, the guy they hired as the AD has scandals in his past. So, scandal in his past. So. This is going to be an interesting coaching carousel. Brent Key came out yesterday and said, I bleed gold and white. So, the idea he's not going anywhere. Is Kiffin going to leave? Does Manny Diaz go somewhere because Duke's playing well? And Manny Diaz is a pretty solid coach, I think. This is going to be a phenomenal coaching carousel.
Is it preposterous to think that Josh Heupel would entertain Penn State? There was a column written yesterday about him, and maybe he should start his clock again up there, and that'd be a perfect place for him.
Well, if I'm Penn State, I certainly would be interested in Josh Heupel. That offense is fun to watch, and especially if you're Penn State, which has not thrown the ball well in like 5 years. And yet, I keep reading about there's a segment of Tennessee fans who are upset with Heupel, and I'm thinking, you folks are insane. What is your problem? Teams aren't. We've talked about this sort of obliquely in the past. There's so many fan bases in the SEC that when you say playoff at the beginning of a season, we'll be in it, and there's too many, frankly, because obviously SEC is not getting more than 4 or 5. And I would argue there's 9 at least that think, we're going to be in it. Penn State, for the most part, should be in every year. I think there's a lot less pressure at Penn State to an extent than there is in the SEC, and that might sound funny. So, oh my God, they fired James Franklin. He made the playoff last year, but he didn't. He doesn't win big games, that kind of stuff. I think Heupel. Again, if Penn State could hire Josh Heupel, I think they would in a half second. But I don't know if he wants to leave Tennessee because he's got a great thing going at Tennessee, despite what that vocal minority of fans says.
I think it is a very small minority that thinks that way, based on the poll I saw. But the night session, these are playoff playoff implication games, Wake Forest at Virginia, Navy at Notre Dame, LSU at Bama. Who do you think of those three is the most susceptible to being upset?
Virginia. Talk about a team that's living on the edge. Virginia. I mean, Notre Dame is going to blow Navy out of the water. I didn't mean it that way. They're going to beat them badly. This LSU team cannot beat Alabama unless Alabama turns it over 5 or 6 times. Virginia, if you watch them play, you're like, this is a nice little team, and then you realize they're the highest ranked ACC team in the college football playoff poll. They lead the ACC race, and that's when you take a step back and go, my God, the ACC is horrible. And it is. It's not good. Chandler Morris is playing well. Virginia has gone through a lot since Tony Elliott's been there. Remember, this is the school that a player got on ex-Walcon got on a bus and shot and killed 3 players. So they're a team you can cheer for. Elliott's persevered. The UVA athletic department has stuck by Elliott like programs used to do in the olden days. But this is not a team. This is another team that if you got them in the college football playoff, you're like, oh my God, we're going to beat this team by 3 touchdowns. Wake Forest is a weird team. They should have beaten Georgia Tech. The refs ripped them off. And then last week, Florida State hammered them, but Wake was missing, I think it was 6 starters. Virginia, again, I think that's the game to focus on just because Virginia is not that good. And Wake Forest, when it plays well, they run the ball extremely well when everything's going right, and that makes them dangerous.
Your Goofon Moving and Storage Movers of the Week, Mike, up and down.
I think the ACC as a whole. Georgia Tech loses last week to NC State in a game that, frankly, NC State dominated. Rolled up almost 600 yards of offense. NC State was missing its leading receiver and its star running back, and the backup running back, who is an Atlanta kid that Georgia Tech did not recruit, runs for 190. So, Georgia Tech they're a scrappy team. You love them because their offense, Haynes King's awesome, but that's an example of what the ACC is like. Then you had Miami, crystal balling again, and that leads to the ACC's highest ranked team in the college football playoff rankings at number 14. And if they went strictly by rankings, obviously, no ACC team would make the field. So the ACC as a whole was a gigantic mover down last week. I think that sort of drove home the idea that, this league really isn't very good.
Mike, your final thoughts?
No, just that this is a great time to be a college sports fan because not only has the playoff push began, college basketball season has started. And I'll be honest, I've watched a couple of games already. The last couple of nights you can watch football and basketball at the same time, which is pretty cool. But yeah, just that November, the leaves are turning and all that kind of stuff. It's getting cooler. Heck, it's in the 30s here next week in Orlando at night. So this is a good time of the year for the playoff watch. Plus, you got college basketball starting. It's just like it's Christmas in November when you can watch football and basketball at the same time.
Mike, we do appreciate it. Appreciate all you do.
All right, man. Talk to you guys next week. Thanks.
Look forward to it. That is Mike Huguenin, presented by Goofon Movers and Stores. As we will take our second timeout, we'll come back, open up the phone lines for you, 865-200-5402. I'm going to introduce a question that I want to ask, and the final, assuming they beat New Mexico State, what do you expect from the Florida Vandy stretch? Do you expect to go 2-0? Do you expect to split one? Or do you expect to go 0-2? And if you're a 1-1 guy, which do you think gets the win? Which is a loss? Anyway, 865-200-5402. Brian Hartman filling in for Tony. And Bino, Jeff, is here too as well. We'll come back on the other side after this short intermission.
Score a TD every time with T3 Vodka. T3 is Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. T3 Vodka is taking the volunteer state by storm. T3 Vodka, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, where quality isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. Filtered 10 times and 80 proof, T3 Vodka delivers a smoothness that's unmatched. This dedication to excellence has already earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades. T3 is a 5-time gold medal winning vodka and the 2025 SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner. Whether you're sipping it neat or on the rocks or mixing up your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka is your choice for a premium, award-winning experience. Score a T3 TD and ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, drink T3 Vodka and score a touchdown every time. T3, Tennessee's premium vodka. Distributed by Athens Distributing Company. Please drink responsibly. Living Vol fan, make Alumni Hall your one-stop shop for all your Vol fans on your shopping list this holiday season. There's nothing better than getting your favorite Tennessee gear under the tree. Picture it, a nice polo shirt, a new hoodie, something for the man cave. Pop in and see my friends at Alumni Hall. Best selection of Tennessee gear. Alumni Hall, 3 Knoxville locations, Bristol, Johnson City, Murfreesboro, or online at alumnihall.com. It's easy to have a big orange Christmas. And happy holidays from everyone at Alumni Hall. The ultimate volunteer shopping experience. Alumni Hall. When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio Show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
Yeah, it's another day, but what kind of day is it really? A day of doom scrolling? Laundry day? Nah, it's a White Claw day. Light and refreshing tasting, uniquely cold wave filtered. There's an iconic flavor for everyone. So grab a pack, grab your friends. Make the most of each day with those who matter most. When you're together with White Claw, every day is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You just gotta grab it. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
Got a problem tree looming over your home? Call ECR Total Landscapes. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, our certified pros get the job done safely and efficiently. We're licensed, insured, and ready 24/7 for emergency calls. Big or small, we cut them all. ECR Total Landscapes. Call now for a free estimate, 865-384-2012, and mention promo code FANRUN for free stump grinding on any tree removal now through the end of the year. Also, visit us at ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Basilio here.
for budget transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our Gold Bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Hey there, Basilio family. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. The countdown to fall football is on. Is your fall plan missing the perfect home to watch the Vols make another playoff run? If a new view is on your game day checklist, I'm ready to help you find it. Don't wait until kickoff. Give me a call today at 865-694-5904 or visit my website at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Back to a Friday edition of the Tony Basilio Show. Brian Hartman and Bino Jeff sitting in for Tony as he takes a much-needed day off. Bino Jeff, I wanted to introduce our topic, and I wanted to ask a question about what you expect from the Vandy, Florida closing two games of the season, 2-0, 1-1, and 0-2. Bino, do you have anything to add to that?
That's a great question, Brian. And I guess my answer to that would be I'm hoping. Of course, I'm hoping for 2-0. I'm expecting 1-1. I just haven't seen a performance other than Georgia this year. And again, you never know how your opponent's going to play when you show up, but. Assuming they're going to play, Vandy's going to play their typical game, and Florida's going to play more like they have after Gillespie's or after he got jettisoned. I'm not sure that we've seen a performance by Tennessee other than the Georgia game where I believe it would be good enough to beat either one of those teams. I'm going to say that they go 1-1 in those two contests.
Yeah, and the Georgia game sort of, I think, increased expectations that maybe did not exist before because they looked so good. And what's a shame is you play that well, you're better off finishing the job because I think from that game, everyone kind of got a false sense of security, and it would have made more margin in the playoffs for error in the playoff chase. But they didn't win the game, but they looked good, and everyone thought, well, they have a chance to run the table maybe. But then again, it sort of created some angst now about how come especially coming off the Oklahoma game. And just wanted to get your thoughts on that before we go to the callers.
Yeah, no, I think you're correct. This team is probably closer to the one that we've seen play against other opponents rather than Georgia. I think we've had defensive issues for the entire season, and we played Georgia at a good time of the year, maybe before they began to hum a little bit offensively. But also, the strange thing about this stretch that we've been in, where we've lost some key games here, is that in a couple of those, our defense actually played well enough to win. I thought they played well enough for us to win the game at Alabama, and I thought they certainly played well enough Saturday night against Oklahoma for us to win. And on those occasions, our offense simply self-destructed and gave those two games away. Gave Oklahoma away and kept us from having an opportunity to win at Alabama. So really, obviously, our defense is our bigger issue, but playing complementary football has been an issue for this team as well.
We're going to go to our first caller of the show. Let's go to Titans Bill, I believe. Titans Bill, can you hear us?
Yeah, I could hear you pretty good. Hey, Bino, I want to ask you something. What did you think of your Colts getting Sauce Gardner?
Well, he'll obviously help them, Bill. That's a big key in the secondary. Now, I thought they gave way too much for him, and I think the only when you trade 2 firsts and a young wide receiver, then I think the only way that you can really get value out of that kind of trade is, in the next couple of years, they need to win the AFC Championship. If that's what they're willing to give up for that player, then that's their thought.
Yeah. I thought the Titans would make some noise. I thought that they would trade Calvin Ridley, but it didn't happen. And I thought they would maybe work out a deal to trade Arden Key, and that didn't happen. But they made a couple of trades, but they were more lower draft picks, or what I would consider the Great Smoky Mountain flea market draft picks.
Yeah, Bill, I read somewhere where that the New England actually, and I don't know what they offered, but that New England actually wanted Calvin Ridley, and that Amy Adams Strunk said she was not helping out Brable in any way. So
Amy Adams Skunk.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
I forgot
what
she
the
had her
clone
name
calls
legally
her.
changed.
So I'll tell you, you're speaking of maybe getting some coaches. I think next year it'll be interesting to see what kind of coach the Titans is gonna get. Just get somebody who's capable of putting the train back on the track and leaving it on the track.
Jeff Fisher's still there. He's out there.
And
would you go back to Jeff Fisher, Titansville?
No. I would. I'll tell you what, Rob. I also understand that Arthur Smith they wanted to go after him. I would think that would be a bad hire, because look, when he was the head coach of the Falcons, he wasn't worth squat.
He's a good coordinator, not so much a good head coach, I don't think.
And of course, it's the same way with Saleh. When he was head coach of the Jets, he wasn't worth squat. So go after somebody. Go after a defensive coach.
Any college games on your radar this weekend? Who do you think? Predictions, Titans, Bill. Who's getting their kingdom torn down?
Boy, ooh, I can't think of any right offhand, Brian.
NFL, who do you think gets their kingdom torn down this weekend?
Well, I'm looking for. Let's see. The Titans have an open date, so they should win that game. And let's see. The Eagles play the Packers.
That's a good one.
That should be a win for Tony's Eagles. Now, who does your Jags play?
They play the Texans on the road without Stroud, who they'll be facing Davis Mills.
your Jags ought to win that game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very interesting weekend of what's going to happen.
Anything else, Titans, Bill?
No, that's it. I'm just going to say to both of you, have a good, safe weekend.
Thank you. You do the same, Titans Bill.
Thank you, Bill. You too.
As Titans Bill jumps off 865-200-5402, the question, and I didn't ask him this, I should have, was what do you think the last two games, Vanderbilt, Florida, assuming they beat New Mexico State, that would give them 7 wins. Do you see a 1-1 or 2-0 or 0-2? I think, Bino, better chance of happening 2-0 or 0-2. I think they have a better chance of. I still call me weird, but I think they have a better chance to go 2-0 than 0-2. That's not what Heupel teams do.
Yeah, I hope that's right, Brian. Again, I'll restate my lack of confidence comes from just not seeing a total performance that I think is going to beat those teams. Florida on the road, I certainly think we would beat them in Neyland. But on the road, I obviously have doubts from history standpoint, regardless of what kind of condition they're in or what their state of mind is. It seems to change when we're there. And I think Vandy's just got a good football team. So I'll go they have a better chance of going 0-2 than 2-0 and hope like the Dickens that I am incorrect in that assumption.
Let's go to Music City Sam. We'll close out the hour, our first hour, with Music City Sam. Welcome in.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
How are you?
Hey, Sam.
Good. I'm in cold Montana right now, but it's not too bad.
Oh, beautiful.
What part, Sam?
Sorry, say that again?
What part are you in?
Billings.
Okay.
Haven't got to explore much. I'm working, but not too bad.
I got a brother-in-law that lives really close to there.
It's a pretty area. A lot of good people.
Yes, beautiful.
Kind of Tennessee, just in the northwest. But this is the year of what ifs for me. It's just this season is so close to being so good. That's what's the most frustrating part about it. And I wish most Vol fans can't understand the context of the season. They're just overreaction central, but it's just so close to being different. So does anyone remember the stat I brought up before the season about Joey Aguilar at Appalachian State?
Refresh us.
Every single interception he threw was when his team was behind and by an average of 10 points. And it seems like this offense always makes its biggest mistakes when the threat of the defense giving up points and getting behind is right in front of them. It seems like they press as soon as, like in let's take the Oklahoma game. They go up 14-0, the game's over. Completely over. But they give up a scoop and score. It's 7-7. Oh, crap. What's our defense going to do next? They start pressing. They make mistakes. And I think that's kind of encapsulates the offense this year.
Yeah, Sam, fortunately, we haven't seen the catastrophic type plays in the numbers that apparently they occurred at Appalachian State last year. We've only seen a glimpse of those, and the two from Joey that I just cannot get over are the throw at Alabama and the last the interception right at the end of the first half. The one that he threw down the field that the safety came over and makes a play on, I can understand that a little bit. The last one was just kind of thrown up. That one's kind of pretty inexcusable.
Yeah, that was prime Appalachian State Joey. Yeah, we're just I don't know, like he just worries that it's about to get out of hand. I got to try to make something happen. Just complete brain dead. But yeah, the throw against Alabama, I mean, I was in the stands for it. It was pretty brutal. But I blame the coaching staff on that, because I'm not giving the coaching staff an excuse on that play, or even I wouldn't even, if I was Heupel, I wouldn't even allow Joey to make that first throw against Oklahoma. Like, why are we going deep? There's no need. But it just is what it is. I mean, I truly believe this with Ricky Gibson and Jamal McCoy healthy this year. It's a completely different team. The defenses would be completely different. The offense wouldn't press as much, because it's kind of weird to me that the offense played its best against Georgia before they knew the defense was going to give up bukus of points. And ever since the Georgia game, every game since where the defense has shown that they're going to give up points, the offense has pressed more and more and made more mistakes. It's gotten worse as the year's gone on, which is opposite of what you would think for a team that started 4 new offensive linemen, 3 basically new receivers, a new quarterback. It's just weird that they've gotten worse. But it makes sense knowing that the defense is as bad as it is, because they just seem to press every time the situation gets close or dire, or however you want to say it.
Where are you on Tim Banks? You want him to come back? I
don't know X's and O's that he's the worst or the best or what. I just think they need a new voice. So I would move on just for the sole fact of they need something new in that coaching staff.
Yeah.
A different voice, something, because obviously the message isn't getting across to play harder or more sound or whatever it is. I would throw big money at DJ Durkin from Auburn, personally.
That's interesting. Sam, anything else?
Oh, yeah, I think we're going to beat the hell out of Vandy. I will never, ever, ever in my life think that we're going to lose to Vanderbilt.
That's
I don't care if Diego Pavia is 45 years old still playing.
Right. Sam, we appreciate it.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate
Sam
you
jumps
coming.
off. We got a couple callers here, Bino, that are going to get on, but we want to get through the break first, and then we'll come back and take their calls. Hopefully you can call in too, 865-200-5402. If you're on hold, stay right there. We'll be coming right back to you after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline, online at tldlogistics.com.
Are you currently a residential electrician? Would you like more benefits, better pay, more upside? What about a $3,000 signing bonus? Free company-paid health insurance, annual profit share, company vehicle, gas card, much more. Call Advent Electric today. Advent, known for their large commercial jobs around town, and due to high demand, they're adding additional roles for their residential department. Maybe you know a friend, family member that's a residential electrician. Spread the word. Email hr@adventelectric.com. hr@adventelectric.com. 865-588-0631 and ask for the Tony B 3K signing bonus. Advent Electric is hiring. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dos with Dos Equis. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Hey there, Basilio family. Jennifer Morse here with Keller Williams Realty. The countdown to fall football is on. Is your fall plan missing the perfect home to watch the Vols make another playoff run? If a new view is on your game day checklist, I'm ready to help you find it. Don't wait until kickoff. Give me a call today at 865-694-5904 or visit my website at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Tony Basilio, and we are live once again with Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, you're out there on the field, 100 strong here in Knoxville. Talk to me. What's been going on with FC Alliance now that the weather's heating up?
We're out here for the first night of the boys' tryouts. We have over 400 kids that'll be here tonight. So a lot of exciting times right now for us. Our club team start at U9 and we go all the way through U19. We have over 1,000 kids that come from Chattanooga from the Tri-Cities that make all our teams and make this club what it is today. So we're excited about it. We finished the younger kids a couple of weeks ago. We just finished the girls last night, and now we're on to our older boys program as we speak right now.
And we're blowing and going in the Tri-Cities. Tell me about it.
We started FC Alliance North 1 year ago, and coming off the first year, we are the largest, most competitive club up in the Tri-Cities area. We just finished our trials last night. Looks like right now we will be well over 400 kids for the upcoming season. So great things happening up there. We've put our boys into some really good regional leagues. So we're excited about what the future holds for them and also our girls programs.
If you want more information, check them out at fcallianceknox.org. That's fcallianceknox.org. Chad Stockton, keep growing the beautiful game here in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
When it's past high noon, it's time for a vodka soda made with a vodka you've actually heard of. I'm talking White Claw vodka soda made with White Claw premium vodka. JB Smooth only drinks vodka soda made with the world's smoothest vodka.
And you can too. Pick you up a bottle of the Triple Wave filtered vodka that's been distilled 5 times. White Claw premium vodka comes in 4 flavors: black cherry, mango, pineapple, and just vodka. You haven't had vodka like this. No one has. White Claw Premium Vodka. Please drink responsibly.
Sounds like a good idea. 865-200-5402. Brian Hartman and Bino Jeff in on the Tony Basilio Show today. We're not at Calhoun's on the River, but that will resume next week, next Friday. And for the rest of the football season, we will be coming to you live from that great, beautiful spot. Bino, I want you to make a point before we go back to the callers here, and I want to get Jeff in Nashville and Josh on. But you made a point in a text message that's pretty good that I think needs to be heard.
Well, Brian, I've texted this out to some buddies of mine, and it's kind of where I stand right now with all the Heupel stuff that naturally goes on after a loss. And I guess my stance is I'm certainly still a Heupel disciple. I'm just not sure in today's game, especially at the pace he and others like to play, that you can both call plays and manage the game. I hope he finds an offensive coordinator that he trusts and that he'll hand those duties over to, so that he can just manage the game and be the CEO of the program. Also hope, and this is a challenge for everyone in today's game, I hope he can find the proper balance, the right mix of signing high school players and portal kids, and mostly that he has the stomach and the sense of urgency needed to make hard staff decisions. And I think those are the things that not only for Josh Heupel, but for anyone at a school that's goal is to win championships. I think those are the things that they have to do in order to have whatever longevity is in today's game.
Sounds perfect. Let's get our next caller in, Jeff in Nashville. Point well said, Bino. Jeff in Nashville, welcome in.
Hey, guys. Thanks a lot for taking my call. First-time caller, and appreciate the show. I had a couple of quick questions. One was kind of more on the less realistic side of things. I obviously realize that this team right now, the word playoff being associated with this team right now is kind of lunacy in one sense, but with there not being any real dominant teams out there, even in the playoff hunt, for the most part, hypothetically speaking, if we were to win out, and of course there would still need to be, a good bit of mass chaos, as far as a lot of other contending teams losing. But I wanted to just kind of get your guys' thoughts, hypothetically speaking, if those conditions were met. What are y'all's thoughts on how our resume would stack up, just with a few weeks left in the remaining schedule? In other words, do you think it would be a situation where, yet and still they'd find a way to kind of screw Tennessee and keep them out, or how, just get y'all's thoughts on that? And then the other thing, you had just mentioned, a lot of your thoughts on changes that you would like to see Heupel implement into the program. I think the in-game help would be a big benefit because he's known to struggle, in big games quite a bit. Seems like he's got a lot on his plate, and I just can't figure out for the life of me why we continue to come up on the short end of the stick when we know X's and O's wise he's a sharp guy, But anyhow, just was floating out a couple of questions. Was wanting to see y'all's thoughts on that.
When you're 9-3, and I'll let Bino take this one. When you're 9-3, though, I think you sort of lose some of your argument there. But they'd only have really Vanderbilt would be their best win if they did go 9-3, and yeah. I don't think that'd be enough. Bino, what do you think?
Yeah, Jeff, I think that if they finish 9-3, that people are going to feel a whole lot better about this season than we do right now. But you'd be talking about jumping 14 teams in order to get into the play. I think if they finish 9-3, I think they'll finish just outside of where they need to be in the playoffs. And I don't think that would be an injustice. I just think that that's the position we put ourselves in.
Got it. Yeah, you're probably right. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Certainly enjoy the show.
Thank you so much for
Jeff.
calling.
Appreciate your call.
And let's go to our next caller, Josh.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. How are y'all?
Hey, Josh.
I want to. I've I guess let's see, this year so far I've been to 4 games, and I had the opportunity to sit in the very low rows of the upper deck in each one of them, so you could kind of, I think that's where you have the best view of the game. And I think one thing that really hurt the perception of this season is Joey Aguilar is kind of like a home run hitter that swings for the fence every play. And the first real series out against Georgia, he hit 3 home runs. And it leads the perception, wow, he's a great hitter. And I think he's played well, and God bless him for everything he's done and coming into the situation. But that was the game where a lot of the throws he forced downfield went our way. And that's kind of burned him, and his like at Oklahoma, like the running backs and the tight end probably should have had 20 catches, but he just would not check it down to him. He was going to throw it downfield into coverage. At the end of the Mississippi State game, Heupel takes a lot of grief for clock management. There was a couple of plays where he let 15 seconds run off the clock trying to run around and throw it down the field when Deshaun Bishop's jumping up and down 5 yards in front of the line of scrimmage wide open. So, not to bash him, but I think the perception that he's played great and he's far and above the best player on the offense is it feels that way because the game where he forced it downfield and got away with it a lot, and 2, that was probably one of the worst secondaries you played all year. It kind of changed the perception when it's like he kind of regressed to the mean as the season went on.
I think expectations sort of ratcheted up there higher than what they were and maybe higher than what they should have been and what would have been fair after they looked so good against Georgia. And it's too bad they couldn't get that one home because they did play so well. And I think the expectations I said for the team, maybe for Aguilar as well. But I still think he's a good quarterback, and he saved the season somewhat.
Sure. He's infinitely better than. And do you ever think about this too? Is like what would have been if Nico stays and they're a preseason top 10 team, and he plays like he did last year. He plays worse, and they go 6-6. Think about how much heat would have been on Heupel then.
Yeah, for sure.
But
yeah,
but
Josh, and I look. I'm sorry, Josh. I'm just so thankful for what he's done, and I think for a quarterback that was just available at that point in time, I'm not sure we could have asked any more than what we've gotten out of him.
Oh, not at all. I think he's, given the situation, I think he's played far better than anybody could expect. I just think sometimes, that was, I think Tony said before the season started, is like there would probably be some games where he would throw you into the game, and then there may be some where he threw you out of the game. But yeah, overall, I just think sometimes it's like, would your perception of him been different if, say, you played Syracuse and then another bye game and then Mississippi State on the road where he kind of throws into coverage and forces a couple downfield? Do you look at the season differently then and go, ooh? So I think that kind of hurt them in a sense from a perception that they might have been better than they were given the situation.
Yeah, I just think this team all along was probably going to end up with 8 or 9 wins. That's sort of where I saw them, and
yeah.
I think when they played so well against Georgia, it made some people think, well, they can go 11-1 or 10-2 when they're going to the playoffs, and even Georgia fans were commenting on how, well, that looks like a playoff team to me. So, and I think that's what makes the last week kind of harder to take a little bit for some.
Yeah, and just the last thing is, one positive you hope is, they're still, if not the youngest, one of the 2 or 3 youngest teams in the SEC. So hopefully, they do grow up some next season.
Yes. Well, anything else, Josh?
That's it, guys. Hope you have a good weekend.
You too. Thanks for the call. 1-800-1865-200-5402 is the number to call in on. We've got about 40 minutes to play here, so we're going to go straight back to the phones and get Ryan, who's called in. Ryan, welcome in.
Hey, Tony. So glad you're on Fan Run. Just wanted to kind of continue this conversation and kind of give some of my thoughts. Bino, I agree with you. This day and age, with the type of offense that Heupel runs, and being someone who's been fortunate to lead a couple different organizations, I agree he can't do it all. Where I would differ is don't take his best thing out of his hands. Let him still be the play caller, but I think he needs to hire an assistant who is that game manager that he can rely on, maybe somebody with gray hair that's been doing it for a while, or an analytics guy. That's where I would differ is I like him being the play caller, but I think the fact that he is so in his element there that maybe sometimes the rest of the game gets away from him, and then he's forced to make a decision that he hasn't had a chance to really think through. So what's your all's thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's interesting, Ryan, because there's no question that is his chief strength. If you could do it in a way, and if he would be receptive to it, that's as good to me. If he's got a guy right there in his ear saying, "Okay, this is this," and he follows those guidelines, absolutely.
Well, and I just,
Brian?
I know my own strengths and weaknesses, and I at the end of the day, you want the organization to succeed. So I want to surround myself with people where I know my weaknesses are, not doubling down, on where I have my strengths. So that was just my thought process on that, and just, obviously it seems to be a glaring weakness of him for all of the many things that he does really, really well as a head football coach.
You just hope that that head coaches don't get that he doesn't get stubborn about some things, which can't happen.
Absolutely.
Ryan, anything else?
Well, thanks. No, that's it. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate what you do.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate the call.
Yeah, that was good insight there. And as Ryan jumps off, we're going to get some more callers in here. 865-200-5402 is the number. Let's go to our favorite Joshy boy.
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you doing today?
Hey, Joshy.
Hey, Joshy.
Hey. So my first question, I asked Tony the other day, guys, how long do you guys think it's going to take this new group and for the basketball team to gel and get used to each other?
I think that's what they're using the first 5 games for. They're all buys, sort of games they should handle. So you're going to see a lot of different things, probably more experimentation. Hopefully they can cut down on the turnovers. I think that's part of the product of it was the 19 turnover. I know Rick Barnes was not happy about that at all. So that's something to hopefully they can clean up in the next several weeks before they go to Vegas.
What about you, Bino?
Yeah, Joshy, this is not the team we've seen the last 2 years where it's kind of unwrapped, heat and eat, ready to go. You know who your go-to player is. Everyone's got a pretty defined role that they understand. This is a more work-in-progress type of roster, and also a different roster in that we've got real depth underneath, and we're trying to work issues out on the perimeter, which has basically been the opposite of what we've seen so far. I'm going to say that it's going to take most of the non-conference season to get to the point where we're real comfortable in who we are and what we are.
Yeah. Bino, we were talking about this last night. Guys, I know that Heupel will probably end up starting either McIntyre or Faison Brandon next season, but I wouldn't be opposed to if Heupel has done like he's done in the past years, getting a Hendon Hooker and a Joey Aguilar out of the portal, maybe going out and trying to get like a Dylan Raiola or DJ Lagway and what have you. What do you guys think?
Yeah, they got to get a quarterback who's healthy. Lagway would be one I would look at, but I mean, that's the thing about him is, and Raiola too, can he stay healthy? I think Riola's out for the year, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so you got to be careful that they come in and you want to, you definitely want to make sure that you don't have that issue, and then if the backup is Brandon Faison, I think that'd be a pretty good thing. I think that would be okay.
Yeah, Josh, it's the balancing act that's with these young kids. You're going to have two talented quarterbacks. They're just going to be really young, really inexperienced. So I would think the route to go, if you go the veteran route, you got to get a guy who's basically they know is only going to be there 1 year, and that may not scare them off. But you have to make that. You have to make that's something that's on a coach's plate now. That's a really, really hard thing to determine what you need to do and what's best for not only the coming year but the following years for your program.
Yeah, guys, what do you make of the last few games of them? I know they've done it all season, rotating the running back group in and out. I wish they would, with at least one guy, ride the hot hand.
I'm sort of disappointed with Star Thomas a little bit the last few weeks. He just hasn't, I guess, since in the one game, I guess against Arkansas, he just didn't look like he had much of anything, and that's kind of been disappointing. And I think Peyton Lewis is sort of probably more of a fullback type. To me, he just seems like, I don't know, they say he's got speed, but I've been kind of disappointed with the running back. Bishop has looked good in spots, but I've been kind of disappointed with the whole thing as just as a whole. Am I wrong?
No, I think it's been more underwhelming than we thought it was going to be, Brian. And I think the thing is that I believe Bishop is your best all-around running back from a protection standpoint, a running the football standpoint, and all of them kind of have the dropsies. So I'm not sure who the best guy to throw the football is.
Yeah.
So, but I think over the second half of the season that Bishop has earned more opportunities than the other two.
All right, that's all I got, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, Joshy.
Thank you so much, Joshy. 865-200-5402 is the number to call in on. I'm going to, if you're on hold, stay right there. We're going to come to you. We're going to take our final timeout of the day. We have about 30 to play after we come back. So 1-800-865-200-5402. We're not at Calhoun's today. We'll be back there next week and the week after that, finishing out football season, as it's Brian and Bino Jeff in for Tony, who's taken some time off, the day off. Not a whole lot of time. But want to remind you, tomorrow there'll be a basketball TLD Logistics basketball overtime, or is it Garza Law Firm overtime, basketball OT, tomorrow after the the Northern Kentucky game, which will start about 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So the Vols try to go to 2-0 in the season. We'll take a timeout, and we'll be back on the other side one more time.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit TLDlogistics.com. That's TLDlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today. Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting because every customer counts, and I mean, no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you. Not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Basilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Basilio here reminding you that when you want to sell your extra tickets to the game, you don't want to give your life away online with all your personal information just because you want to sell a few extra tickets. Clark Moore at Select Ticket Service will gladly buy your extra game tickets and your extra parking passes. And the best part? Clarky Boy pays cash. 865-919-1016. 865-919-1016. Clarky Boy pays cash at Select Ticket Service. Clarky Boy pays cash.
Welcome back into the Friday edition of the Tony Basilio Show. Brian and Bino Jeff sitting in for Tony as he takes a day off. 865-200-5402 is the number, but I've got a full bank of calls. Bino, one more segment. And what's your thing about OT, Bino, for everybody that's just tuning in?
My thing has always been, Brownie boy, that I didn't work it when I got paid time and a half. I don't work it when I'm getting nothing.
Let's go to our next call, Rusty, a.k.a. Russell. Welcome in.
Hey, Brian and Jeffrey.
Hello, Rusty.
So I agree with you, Bino, that the caller a little while ago that brought up can we get to 9-3, and if so, is there a way to backdoor in to the playoffs still? And you've got to move 14 spots from 25 to 11 to be in. But if we have a second, let's name the 14 teams that we would need to jump in front of, and if it's possible for any one of them to fall below us, right? Can we do that?
Sure.
Texas needs to lose 2. Georgia and Texas A&M. That's one team for us to jump. Oh, we need to win out, which means we beat Vandy, so we jump in front of them. That's 2.
Okay.
We need Oklahoma to lose 2. That would be any 2 of LSU, Bama, and Missouri. We need Missouri to lose 1, so that would be A&M this weekend, I guess. So that gets us in front of 4 SEC teams, which would make us 5th in the SEC right there, if those things transpire. Are all those doable or likely if we went out to?
I think that all of those are, all of those are, they may even be likely.
Yeah. The least likely, I think, is us beating Florida and Vandy.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
Yeah. So then what? That's getting us by 4 teams. So let's say who else? We need Utah to lose another ball game, and we need BYU to lose to Texas Tech, Cincinnati, and then Texas Tech again in the Big 12 championship game. And only one of those 3 of the 2 Utah teams and Texas Tech, only one of those to get out of the Big 12. So that knocks 2 of those out. So that gets you to 6 teams right there, right? Then we need Washington to lose another, USC to lose another, Michigan to lose another.
Miami?
They still play Ohio State. I'm trying to do conference by conference. We need Michigan to lose to Ohio State, which, that should happen, although we've seen Ryan Day screw that one up enough. And we need Iowa to lose to Oregon this week. So that's 4 more teams right there from the Big Ten. And that's not unlikely that all 4 of those lose another ball game. So that has us at what? 4, 4, and 2. That has us at 10 right there. And I haven't talked about Notre Dame going to Pitt or any of the ACC teams. So you need Miami to lose 1 probably. You need Louisville to lose 1. You need Virginia to lose 1. And you need Georgia Tech to probably lose 1. And Pitt beating Notre Dame and then losing to Georgia Tech or Louisville would be kind of a bonus.
That sounds like you're in the bottom of the ninth. You just need a couple grand slams and you're back in the game.
I'd say you need 6 runs in the bottom of the ninth, and it's a clean inning. There's nobody on base and no outs. And you're facing Trevor Hoffman.
Liam Doyle.
No.
Yeah, there's a path that is there, Rusty, but it's just kind of a craggy trail up top of a mountain.
It takes you in the back door.
I still go back to the hardest part of that is us winning our last 3 ball games.
That is true. I'll agree with that.
Yeah. And that's a shame because we're actually, when we don't shoot ourselves in the foot and we execute at a decent level, just in a well above average, not a great level, but a good level, we're lethal on offense. If we can eliminate the stupid stuff, the illegal snaps and false starts and receivers not lining up on the line of scrimmage and centers snapping the ball when the quarterback and the rest of the team's not ready, just all that stupid stuff that's elementary school stuff that has nothing to do with how physically gifted you are. It has to do with how concentrated you are in the moment and how you can relax in the moment and not let the moment be too big for you. It's a shame. It's a shame that where we are, because we actually probably should have one loss right now, and if we would have played just good football, we've won 2 of those 3 ball games. It's a shame, man.
Yeah, Rusty. I mean,
Anyway,
in the
go ahead.
In the playoff era, with the talent more evenly distributed across the country, those little things just become more and more and more important and more magnified, because there's going to be more games decided by fewer points. You got to do those little things. Got to do them better than we've done them the entire time Josh has been here, to be quite honest.
Oh, for sure, man. I saw it the other day. The average margin of SEC games this year went from 14.5 points last year down to like 7 in 1 year, because the teams are closer together now.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I don't know if there needs to be coaching changes across the board on this staff, Bino, but I know there's got to be a coaching philosophy change at the top, which is play calling is great, but executing the little things is just as important.
Yes.
Anyway, y'all have a great weekend. I love you, boys.
Thank you, Rusty.
Thanks, Rusty.
Thank you so much. Let's get to Jack. Jack, welcome in.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing today?
Hi. How you doing?
I've kind of just shut everything off this whole week over pure frustration. We got big issues that I don't think that he's willing to resolve or help resolve. So I just don't see a good outcome to Heupel's era at this place. I don't think he's going to let go of anything as far as coaching wise, or make any changes, because he's just too comfortable in his situation. And I see a 7-5 season this year. I don't see no way we win either of those games. He has no discipline. He has no discipline within himself, and I just think it's a train wreck.
So, Jack, you think they might actually be better finishing 7-5? That might bring out changes that you think is needed?
I think it would be the best case scenario, but I don't think he's willing to do the changes, and I don't know what the ultimate outcome of that would be.
He might have to if he goes 7-5.
It started back with Nico. Whenever you found out Nico was shopping around in December and you didn't do one thing about it, and you got yourself behind come spring, and then it leads on to the Boo Carter situation. And knowing the Players' Council, there's no way that they agreed to let him stay on his team. That was all Josh Heupel. And everything that's happening right now with this football team, the undisciplined actions, he don't even know the rules of the game. He's wondering why the play clock don't stop when they go out of bounds. All that, he's way in over his head, and he's not willing to give any of that up. And I just feel like he's lost a bit of a part of the team. That's just me.
Bino.
Well, Jack, I hope you're wrong about that, but if you're right about it, and Josh does take the stubborn approach, and doesn't make needed changes, then you'll be correct about the end result.
And in 2022, did he call the plays, or did Golish call the plays, or do we know that?
I think Josh has always been a play caller. I think that's been his deal. I think this offense has been his since the day that he walked in. Do I think Golish had more of a hand in what went on? Yes, than Halsley, but I think Josh is the play caller.
I called a couple of weeks ago, and you was on the show, and I mentioned him not being serious. I don't know that was the right word to use, but meaning is, if you're serious and everybody can see issues, but you're willing not to change them, I just feel like there's no. You're not everything is not, you're not taking this as serious as it needs to be. And I was happy. He turned us around, got us, are we in a better spot now than we was? I mean, we've dealt with this for years now and 20 years plus. And yeah, we're in a better spot. But I grew up in an area where we didn't get a participation trophy. It was a win or nothing. And I'm ready to see it go to the next level. I'm sorry. But I'm not happy with just going 9-3, 10-2 and getting a sniff of a playoff or even making a playoff and getting a blowout in the first round. I mean, I'm ready to get back in the 90s. I mean, I'm ready to see I'm ready to see something exciting like happened in the baseball. And you can take these other coaches, Rick Barnes, Kim Caldwell, and Tony Vitello, because we're not got a sample size of the new baseball coach. But neither three of them are going to put up with any of this stuff. And I don't care how good Boo Carter was in high school, and I don't care how much money we gave him. Okay, that's water. We've lost that money. That's just a loss. We've all took losses in our lifetime. I know you have. Everybody has. That you look back and regret you doing it, but you learn from your mistakes. He should have been cut and gone. You can't leave him on the team. He's a cancer to the team.
He hadn't added what you would expect him to add, given the second chance he was given.
Cut your losses, cut your money that you lost, and let him go because he's out there not playing. All he's done is hurt the team, and I don't think any of them other three would have put up with it.
Probably not.
You're probably right, Jack. Jack, I think the term that I've heard used, I think that Josh Heupel is a serious football coach. I think he's a hard-working football coach. I think it means a lot to him. But I think a better term that I've heard that I can take a little easier than not serious is I think we need to see a little more sense of urgency from him in certain areas.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And I said also, if you do go 7-5, you went to a full flame under the seat. I mean, your ass is burning off. You know that. Okay. And I tried on to be snap judgment. That's why I've just blocked everything out. I was at the game, and it was a damn another fiasco getting into this game. I mean, these people are pushing, shoving, guy shoving his way through the crowd, nearly broke out into a fight and everything. It's just everything. It just seems everything about the program is getting to be silly. But if he isn't willing to make changes, and I said this weeks ago, and then last week before the Oklahoma game, Tony was talking about something. If he's not willing to make changes after this season, 9-3 or 7-5 in my eyes, he's not going to make it much longer here. Thanks.
Thanks, Jack.
As Jack jumps off, let's go to our next call. I believe it is Luke. Luke, welcome in.
Hello, Brian. I think they lose to Florida, and Vanderbilt will go either way. Which team's on that day, that's what will happen. The question I got, when these coaches, when he came in, when Heupel came in, it's at the last minute. How many of those assistant coaches didn't have a job? How many staff changes do you think they should make?
Well,
give me a number. How many staff changes?
The thing about a quality staff is how many programs are looking at some of those guys to take a step up with their program and not make a lateral move. Like how many head coaching opportunities have come off Heupel's staff, and I think the only one I know about is the Kennesaw State coach. And when you don't have a coaching staff that generates a lot of head coaching jobs like Nick Saban's did, it sort of has the potential to get a little bit stale. And I think and then again, if the coach isn't willing to make changes, that is what's going to happen.
Yeah. Let me go to baseball like that. Wasn't that a great World Series? One of the best seventh games I've ever seen.
It was a fantastic series. Totally, I thought. I was trying to think back, Luke, and I think it's the best World Series we've seen since '75.
Sorry, Luke.
Because of so many great defensive plays.
It'd be nice if they could find a way not to put Game 7 on opposite college football. But
it would be.
That's
yes.
just me.
But it was great. It was great that the damn Yankees weren't in it, and the big bad Phillies was not in that World Series.
You know who you're talking
Now,
to.
Luke, that's no way. That's no way to come in here.
Well, that was good. The Dodgers are there, but I'm a San Francisco Giant fan now, so we all need to get out there and get us a San Francisco Giant hat, and be a Giant fan now.
So what could SF stand for? You got tournament cruelty, Bino, SF. What would that stand for in March?
I'll have to think on that one, Brownie.
Luke, anything else?
Vital is going to really do a good job out there. So just give him some time, and I think he's really going to be successful.
I agree. I think it sounds promising to me, to be honest. Hopefully that means he doesn't get back in the college game at somebody like Arkansas. Is what I'm hoping for. That he stays out there.
Yeah, that's what I brought up. That they could have temporarily put one of those coaches in there, see if it's going to stay for 2 years, and see if he's going to stay up there. But I think Tennessee could get him back if he came back to college. But and I'm hoping Elander does a great job too. I think he will, but I don't think he'll be able to recruit as well as Vitalo did.
He's started to.
Vitalo was single, and he just worked around the clock.
Well, Elander does. He's a dog on the recruiting trail. I'll keep that in mind. So, yeah, he's already landed a couple of prospects, I think, Bino, right? Commitments here recently?
Yes, he has. He got a local commitment here just the other day.
Don't go to sleep on their
two-way player. But hey, I think Elander will be just fine, and I'm really hopeful for Tony. If anybody can do it, it's him. But that's a quantum leap to go from being a head coach in college without a second of professional baseball managing experience to be the manager of the San Francisco Giants. And I'm not sure the Giants in the same division with the Dodgers and the Padres is a great place.
I noticed the Giants won 81 games last year, so if he can win up to 85 this coming year, or maybe 90 games, that would be an improvement for the first year. I think they ended up 81 and 81. So if they can he can just keep improving a little bit at a time, I think he'll be there.
Well, he's a special guy. If anybody can overcome the things I just spoke about, it's him. I wish him nothing but the best.
Okay. Y'all have a good one. Go Vols.
Thanks, Luke.
Thank you, Luke. We'll start out. We have two more callers on hold. We'll have two more callers. We'll stretch that out to one, and then we'll say adios. Let's go to our first of those two. Let's get to Florida.
Bino, what's up, man? Hey, listen, man. All this hyper hate, man. What's going on, bro? I mean, it's some things he have to clean up, man, with Boo Carter and his defensive coordinator, man. But who is he going to get to fill his shoes? Who he go? I know Boo Carter expendable, but that's a waste of money. But who's he going to get for a defensive coordinator that's out there right now?
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned DJ Durkin. They could throw money at him. I look at Gerard Mayo.
With all the coaching changes that are coming up, I think the field's going to open up somewhat, Florida, as far as your candidates go, because you're going to have sitting defensive coordinators that aren't going to have a spot, and you're going to have some head coaches fired that might look at a coordinator position more so than they have in a number of years, of course. So
but
we'll see.
Man, like I said, but his offense is straight, bro. And when you lost Golich, you lost a little bit. But Hype was a play caller, man. He's a play caller.
Florida, you going up to Lexington for this weekend?
Man, we're gonna beat Kentucky, man. We ain't won many of them, but we're gonna beat Kentucky.
You going up there?
No, I'm going to Gainesville the week after y'all after y'all homecoming. Me and my little boy we're going to Gainesville. We're gonna fly down there and go see what's going on down there with y'all.
Well, good for you, Florida. Glad you and your son are going to get to make that trip.
Yes, sir. Like I said, man, thank you, man. Y'all going to beat us, though, but, because I don't think, they can stop y'all offense, man, but Who knows?
You really think you
Wow.
don't? You think the Tennessee's going to win? That's the first time I think I've ever heard you say that.
And you ain't Gainesville, man. Hey, listen, man. The DJ Lagway is holding on to that ball way too long.
Right.
You got a shot. That's all I got to say. I love y'all. Have a great rest of your day.
You too, Florida.
Thank you, Florida. I think for the first time, I think I hear fear in Florida's voice, Bino.
Well, that was different. That was different.
Yeah, W. Lynn was on, and he dropped off, so W. Lynn, give us a call back. I think we've got about 5 minutes to play, so 865-200-5402. As tomorrow, college football, Tennessee's off week. The Vols play Western Kentucky, Northern Kentucky in hoops tomorrow. The Norsemen come in and will face the Vols at 3 p.m. Eastern, I believe. So we'll have a basketball OT following that for a little bit. It'll be a football watch-along, as there are a lot of good games on earlier. It doesn't seem like there's as many on later in the day. But, Bino, what game tomorrow are you most looking forward to watching?
I'm looking forward to Texas Tech and BYU. I think that'll be a really good football game, and obviously have a lot to do with who wins the Big 12 and who gets in the playoff from that league. Alabama and LSU is always a special game. It doesn't seem to matter what one side has or the other. Most of the time, they're both pretty good. This year, obviously, LSU comes into it limping. Those are probably the two that I'm most anxious to watch.
Yeah, I was distracted there for a second. So I'm kind of looking to see Mississippi State and Georgia. Can Georgia go into Starkville, and will Starkville finally get somebody? Texas and Tennessee have both gone in there. It seems like Mississippi State's home schedule, SEC-wise, is comprised of Texas, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Georgia. Texas, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Georgia, all playoff contenders. And can they knock one of those teams out of the playoffs? That's one thing I'm kind of fascinated to see.
Yeah, and I mean, both of those teams have kind of they've been teetering on the opposite side of the line. Mississippi State has been right there with an opportunity to win several football games and just couldn't make the play until last weekend. And Georgia's been teetering there trying to lose a football game and couldn't seem to do it. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they swap sides of that line.
Yeah, and as you say, BYU Texas Tech, that's a rivalry that's been thrown together through college realignment, and that is in Lubbock. And the Texas Tech winners and losers actually is coming up next, right after we're done. And I believe I have a play on that game, or a pick on that game. That's one of the, spoiler alert there, that's one of the games. We'll have myself, Will Heflin, and Lee, and William Pattison, who is coming up next on these Fan Run radio airwaves, as we have about 2 minutes left in the show. And Bino, I'll let you give me your final thoughts as we wrap it up on this edition of the Tony Basilio Show.
Yeah, Brian, it's been fun spending time with you on a football Friday. Like I said off the top, we don't get an opportunity to do that very much, and I'm sorry that I couldn't be in studio with you today. It just couldn't be helped. But you've done a great job today, Brian. I thought our callers were very good and very controlled in their emotions, which happens more on Friday than it does on Monday. Seems like so.
Well,
just natural human nature,
especially when it's been almost a full week since you last lost a game. I think that also helps. And
yes,
there's no game tomorrow to get mad
help.
about prematurely.
I'm hopeful that this Tennessee team can make the little plays that they haven't made in the first 2/3 of the season, going down the stretch here against Florida and Georgia. I mean, Florida and Vanderbilt, and that we have a happier end of the season than we did the middle of it.
That's for sure, and it still seems weird. We're almost in November, and they haven't played Florida yet. That's still kind of odd to me.
It's the way I always wanted it, but it is odd.
Yeah, it is, and I think the Vols, when they play Florida late in the season, they've had tremendous success, and unfortunately, they've always had to play them in the middle or early in the season. And we'll see if it didn't help. It almost helped with Georgia, playing Georgia early, but didn't quite get there, didn't quite get home. That is going to do it. Bino, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend.
Love you, Brian. Thank you.
Okay, Bino. That's Bino Jeff. Brian filling in for Tony Basilio today. Winners and losers up next on these platforms, and then on the Fan Run Radio, you have William Pattison and the Playbook. We hope you all have a very safe weekend, and we will talk to you on the other side. Basketball OT tomorrow. Don't forget, 3 o'clock game against Northern Kentucky, and I will see you and talk to you on Monday.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Winners and Losers here in the Ray Mears studio. You might notice I ain't Tony Basilio. That is true. Pinch hitting tonight. I'm Will Heflin. We've got a smaller crew. Tony is on his bye week as well this week, so he ran over to Nashville, where Mr. Nashville Lee is, and he's going to the Preds game with his son. So that'll be cool. They're playing the Flyers. As you can tell, Tony is a Flyers fan, so it makes a lot of sense. So I'm pinch hitting tonight, and we have a smaller panel as well. We've only got 2 panel members today, but if you had to choose 2, you've got a good 2-pack. We've got Nashville Lee, as mentioned before, and Brian Hartman, who has been hot. We all had a terrible week last week in terms of power plays because we went 0-3. So maybe this little mix-up of who's hosting, smaller panel, maybe a more condensed, concise show, maybe we flip the script and go 3-0, or maybe even 4-0. Maybe we'll go 4-0 since it's just the 3 of us. Maybe a little easier to come to a consensus. But thanks for joining us nonetheless. Winners and Losers is sponsored by Dos Equis. Go for Dos, whether you're grilling out at a game or like Tony going on holiday. Maybe you're going somewhere warm and you want to have some Dos Equis. Always phenomenal. Also, our friends at VIP Play, who I work for, as you may know, they are sponsors as well. So, Mr. Nashville Lee, Tony always asks you to grade the card. We're not going to change that. No Tennessee game this week, but how is the slate outside of that? What would you grade it?
I think it's probably a solid B. This is really sneaky. It's really sneaky because I feel like there's a lot of games that could create some chaos, and it's just not out of the realm of possibility that it could happen this week. Like you look at the spreads on some of these, like they're all like a touchdown to like 10 points. Like with like Bama and Georgia, like it would shock me if these teams like get if we see some crazy chaos this week. So I'm really kind of fascinated to see how this shakes out with a handful of these teams in weird situations. But for that reason, I give it somewhere between a B and a B plus.
Yeah, I think it could end up being an amazing watchability slate, but we'll see how it is on the betting side. I actually think, just looking at it, I kind of like the NFL slate a little bit better this weekend. There's some crazy good spots just in terms of stuff that can shake out. You've got some teams off bye weeks. You had a couple good upsets last weekend. So phenomenal NFL slate. We'll all 3 give out a play. I wasn't planning to do plays because I was just going to try to host, but since it's just the 3 of us, I'll give some out as well. I'll just try to be short. Bri, how do you see this? How do you see this card? Do you like it, or just maybe from a betting standpoint and a watchability standpoint?
Well, their cards are always, every week has something that's going to kind of wow you as far as unexpected natures go, and I can't wait to see what that is this week. So I'm intrigued by every card every week. It's always, you can't have less than a B or B plus as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to give it an A-, LOA, because we're getting into the part of the season where you've got teams positioning for playoffs. And I think even though the Vols aren't going to be one of those this year, it's still fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue every week from here on out just has to be, because of the implications, it's got to be at least a B. Like, there's no such thing as a B- from here on out. So we will we'll roll with that. And we're actually throwing in Mr. William Pattison hopping on with us from Fan Run. Good to see you again this week, Will. I'm going to try to adjust you. If you're with us on YouTube, Will's kind of blocked, but good to see you, William. We were hadn't started yet, just grading the card. What do you see on the slate this weekend from a watchability standpoint? Give me a grade, and a bettability standpoint. Give me a grade.
Yeah, I don't think this week is as fun as last week. I mean, heading into last week, there were like 3 or 4 sides I already knew I was going to place on Monday. This week, there are like 2 or 3. So I feel like the watchability, you don't have but like 2 or 3 really big games. So I'd say that's about a B, but I'm a college football sicko, so I'll watch regardless of who's playing. So I give it a B for the watchability, and then the bettability will go C+.
Okay. Fair enough. If you're new here, here's the format. We give out 3 plays from the college slate and 1 play from the NFL slate. At the end of this, we'll take the 12 to 16 plays combined from this group of 4, and we'll come up with our 3 or 4 that we like the best, that maybe we all agreed on, or we're the most confident in, and those will be our power plays. If you are new here, that's good for you because we got swept last week. First time all year. We've actually done fairly solid on the year, but everybody's due for a bad week once in a while. Brian, you have to remind me, we obviously lost on the Tennessee one. We lost on Rice on Friday. They just went down early and couldn't get back in the game. And then our NFL one was the Jags that won in overtime but didn't cover. So I guess I did remember it now that I'm talking my way through it. But we'll start with you. If you're watching, it'll be from top to bottom on your device. So, Brian, you're going to go first. If you want to go for dose, go for dose. Give us 2. But if you want to do 1 and then circle back around, we can do it that way. But go ahead, Brian.
I'll just give 1 for now and let everybody else get their first one in. But I want to go with Coastal Carolina at home versus Georgia State. Coastal Carolina is -7.5. Georgia State is really struggling this year. They've been competitive sometimes, but lately I think they've lost their last 3 games by an average of about 15 or 16 points a game. There are some soft targets in these group of 5 games pretty much all year if you know what you're looking for. So Coastal Carolina is playing well. They struggled a little bit to begin the season, but they're playing at home and they're playing Georgia State, who this line feels like it should be higher than 7.5, but I like Coastal Carolina the chance to cover at home, -7.5.
Very nice. All the lines that we talk about are going to be courtesy of VIP Play. So anybody else have the Coastal game on their radar?
I'm actually, I think this is pretty solid. If you're not paying attention to some of the G5 schools, Coastal Carolina is one of the teams that's definitely trending in the right direction. They've been a major surprise. I think they had like 65 new players on the roster. They started off the season really slow, but they've really picked it up and found themselves. Their defensive coordinator is a guy by the name of Jeremiah Johnson. That, as a Tennessee fan, I wouldn't mind seeing him call plays here. But yeah, they've become a really, really solid team. I like this a lot.
5 minutes in, we're already going there. Hey, Lee?
Yeah, I couldn't help it. He's the one guy I was like, who's that? I'm like, I'm telling you, this guy's like really good. He was at Louisiana Tech last year and had Louisiana Tech's defense ranked in the top 20 in the country. And he's steadily getting this defense up to par. They're playing really well right now. So I like this quite a bit, actually.
Could be a uniform bet. If anybody didn't see what Coastal came out in last week in their intro, go check it out. It should be on their team page. They had like a glow in the dark woven in or something. I'm not an apparel person or expert per se, but they came in, had all the lights off, did this show basically with their uniform where it was glowing in the dark. It was absolutely sick. Okay, I did a terrible job of explaining it, but take my word for it. Go check it out. Lee, give us your first play.
Yeah, so I think the first team I give out, the SEC. The first one I'm going to give out Missouri. I think they're sitting at +6.5 right now. most books. They're hosting A&M. Yeah, I like this spot, particularly for Missouri. They're still, they're still 6-2, so they're not out of any sort of playoff hunt. I mean, he can still sell them if they can make this thing, even though everybody's pretty much writing them off. I think having this freshman quarterback introduces a lot of variance into the game. It could possibly go horrifically wrong. But on the other end of the spectrum, this could be something that Texas A&M is not really prepared for. In his short, he didn't play a lot against Vandy, but when he came in, I thought he played pretty well. Through about 138 yards and a touchdown. He looks the part. He's like 6'4". Apparently, the kid's super talented. Yeah, and I think the matchup is they match up pretty nicely with A&M. I think they're one of the few teams that on the defensive line that can give that A&M offensive line, which is one of the best in the country, a run. So, yeah, I like this spot for Missouri coming off of the bye here. Some revenge from last year when Missouri was undefeated and they went into College Station and kind of got throttled. So, I think Missouri is very live to win this game. I've got some Missouri money line as well.
That's definitely going to be the sharper side on this one. A&M's shiny toy right now. They've looked great. Don't get me wrong. Mizzou's got the backup quarterback, but you just know it's one of those spots where you just don't want to be on that. You want to be on that side of A&M and be like, how in the world? Next thing you know, it's a field goal game. So, William, I see you smiling. Did you have that game on your radar or lean the same way?
Yeah, definitely on my radar. That's one of those games I was looking forward to this weekend. Matt Zollers, a guy that comes in relief for Bo Pribula against Vanderbilt. He's had a bye week now to kind of get ready for this matchup up against a really, really talented Texas A&M team, really talented defensively. Mike Elko's done a great job, but this line has moved up a half point as we're recording this and up to 7 now. So you're getting a touchdown of insurance at home for a Missouri team that is really good defensively, as he mentioned. And also, take the quarterback out of this. Ahmad Hardy's still one of the best running backs in the SEC. Find an offensive line that's done their job. So this is definitely on my radar. I haven't, solidified it as a play for me yet personally, but I do like where he's headed with Missouri plus 7, especially with a touchdown of insurance.
I kind of feel like A&M has got too good of a defense for Missouri. I think it's going to be really difficult for them to have much success. So I sort of lean the other way.
If Missouri's not able to run the ball with Hardy, it definitely gets dicey for them. This is kind of one of those, are you with the public or are you against them spots? So it should be an interesting one. I think the SEC as a whole this year has definitely lent itself towards these tight games, even on the bigger discrepancies on how the seasons are going or whatnot. But both sides make a ton of sense. William, we're gonna go snake, so you're gonna go for dose. Give us your first 2 plays.
Okay, I really like both of these. We'll begin in the Big 12 with BYU and Texas Tech. College game day going to be there Saturday, a huge matchup in the Big 12 championship race. And I like the Red Raiders here pretty comfortably at the -10. On VIP play, I think we're up to 10.5, but I still think that's a playable number. Texas Tech is a really, really good football team. Defensively, guys like Rodriguez at linebacker are one of the best in the country. They swarm opposing teams, and really throughout the season, they have dominated everyone they've played outside of Arizona State when Will Hammond was playing quarterback for them. Baron Morton is going to be back in this one. It seems that he has gotten back to maybe not full health, but he's able to go and play at an efficient level. So I like Texas Tech big as a team. And then on the other side of this, I faded BYU multiple times this season. I just don't see it with them. When you look at a lot of their wins so far, especially against Utah, they were outgained in that game. But Utah was 1 of 3 on 4th down with inside the 20-yard line. So, they had a lot of opportunities to win that game outright, and Utah was a 3.5-point favorite. But give credit, BYU is a really good defense, top 15 in the country, but I just think they're going to be overwhelmed here on both sides of the football. Probably the best offense and defense they'll play this season. So Texas Tech is probably my favorite play this Saturday, -10.5, or really I'd honestly play it up to 14. I think they roll them off the field.
Is this similar for you as that Utah-Cincinnati spot a week ago?
Yeah, almost the exact same spot. And really, I mean, it is. This is a system that I continue with throughout the college football season, a rank versus rank matchup with the home team, a favorite of 3 points or more. And last week, I was big on Utah. That ended up being a 2-unit side for me, and they ended up winning 45-14. So I really like this spot for Texas Tech on Saturday. And again, I just think BYU has kind of slipped by, and they're not going to be able to do that up against this Red Raiders team.
Back to the well we go. Go ahead and give your second play, and then we'll get Lee and Bry's thoughts on both of them.
Yeah, this other one is going to have a pretty big number, and it might scare some people away, but it's going to be Notre Dame minus 26.5 up against Navy. Navy is 7-1 on the season. They're coming off a loss to North Texas last week. They now travel into South Bend for a primetime 7:30 matchup against the Fighting Irish. And last week, a lot of people were down on Notre Dame. They only beat Boston College by, I think, 15 points. It was 25-10. But when you look at the yards per play discrepancy in that one, it should have been a much bigger score. Notre Dame had 8.3 yards per play to Boston College's 4.3. And the 17 games this season where that has been a differential of one team has 8 yards per play and the other has 4 or less, teams have won by an average score of 44.7. I thought Notre Dame last week got kind of stuck in the middle of the field and would have to, punt, and did not capitalize on a lot of opportunities. But this week, especially with the college football playoff rankings coming out, you're going to see a motivated Notre Dame team. They understand what's in front of them. And I think they steamroll a Navy offense. That's impressive. But this is a much, much different beast than what they face in the American. I like Notre Dame minus 26.5.
I believe last year they went into this game, it was 21 was the spread, if I remember correctly. And a lot of people like Notre Dame because they looked awesome to that point. And, we're certainly going into that game thinking they were going to be competitive. It may have only been like 14.
Yeah,
I think they fumbled 3 times in the first quarter, and Notre Dame absolutely steamrolled them. So.
Yeah, it was 14.5 because I remember it because I bet on Notre Dame like every game following their Northern Illinois loss, and they ended up going like 8-0, 9-0 against the spread up until that championship game. But it was 14.5. Everyone loved Navy because they were undefeated and they were ranked. And Notre Dame steamrolled them. I predict the same happens Saturday night, 26.5 for me.
Brian or Lee, do either of you have a thought on Texas Tech minus 10.5 or Notre Dame minus the 26.5?
Yeah, I like Texas Tech play. I think this is the week where BYU could be very vulnerable, and Texas Tech is very good at home. I think their closest game was 25 points, I believe, and they've covered every game at home except one. I think they missed by 1 point. But a game they won by 62-14. So, yeah, Texas Tech would be it. Notre Dame, I kind of like lean Irish, but I don't have a strong feeling about that game either way.
Lee, your thoughts or your second play, sir?
Yeah, I lean towards Texas Tech. Like that. Last week, I was on Kansas State, fading Texas Tech ahead of this game. And that didn't work out very well. Kansas State had a lead. Look, this is the deal with Texas Tech. That defensive line is just so freaking nasty. The Big 12 just isn't used to having defensive lines like that, and teams aren't used to seeing it. In Kansas State, when they needed a big third down conversion or they needed to make a play inside the red zone, they couldn't beat those guys. And I think the same thing's very likely to happen. Texas Tech's offense is taking. It's not been near as efficient the last few weeks, but they're putting up yards and points just because of volume, because they're on the field all the time, because nobody can do anything against their defense. So I think that's Texas Tech's side or pass. As far as Notre Dame goes, I would definitely go ahead and bet Notre Dame now because Notre Dame is taking money every game day on Saturday money. These lines are being hit and they're going up like 3 points. People love Notre Dame betting them on game day, so I'll go ahead and bet that now. I'm a little more interested in the total. I'm just waiting to see weather on Saturday morning. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. So I'm looking at an over. I just want to check the weather on Saturday morning.
Fair enough. Nice little tip there for anybody who's wanting to ride with William on Notre Dame. If it's 26.5 and they go up 3 points, that puts you over the 4 touchdown threshold. So I don't know if we technically consider that a significant number in those realms of point spreads, but it's certainly over a number that is worth talking about when we're talking about touchdowns and extra points.
Yeah,
Four of them.
you always want to get the best number, like regardless. But I'm just telling you, this will go off like Notre Dame minus 28. I can promise you. This happens every week with Notre Dame.
Fair enough. Lee, who's your second play?
Yeah, like I said, we're going to go back to the SEC. I got another dog here. I'm going to take this 6.5 with Auburn. Going to Vanderbilt. This is just, it's not really the new coach, like dead cat bounce thing. Like, I'm not really sure. There is something to that, but that's not really the basis for the play. Even though I do think the team does probably come out a little bit more with a little bit more juice, given everything they've been through. This Vanderbilt team is had a stretch now. This is getting kind of ridiculous. They're going to have a major letdown at some point. And the offense, besides the garbage time last week against Texas, like this offense is starting to really slow down. It's like 2 straight games where it's not done really a whole lot, and they're going up against maybe the best offense in the SEC outside of Oklahoma, maybe. So I think Auburn really slows them down. And I like catching the 6.5 points here with Auburn. I think Auburn's very live. I've got some Auburn money line as well.
William or Brian, that makes a lot of sense to me. Do either of you have a thought there?
Yeah, that's one I've been looking at as well. I mean, obviously Vanderbilt's coming off a tough outing against Texas, but like they always have this season, they continue to fight and ended up pushing that game. It was significant to some. I got a little greedy and took the -3 on 105 with Texas. But anyway, I've gotten over it. But at least in this matchup, I mean, I agree. Auburn does have a top-level defense in the SEC. They're not the reason why they're losing games. It's just, can they formulate enough offense? And the thing that scares me is, even though Auburn does have a really good defense, I feel like they're going to be constantly on the field because their offense just is not going to be able to produce. And Vanderbilt's not like an elite-level defense, but they've done well in the SEC. So, I don't know. I would like to play Auburn, but I put them on my no-bet list a couple of weeks ago after they fell to Missouri at home. So not a side that I'm going to play, but I do understand the reasoning.
So Auburn's in timeout. Bri, what are your thoughts there? Or if you don't have any thoughts, then we're going to have you go for dose and give your last 2 plays from the colleges. Get all that out at once, brother.
Well, I sort of don't have thoughts about Auburn Vanderbilt. It's sort of a stay away from me, but the first play I'm going to give out here is the Cal. And Louisville's playing. They're hosting Cal. Cal is plus 19.5. That seems like a very high number. Cal's played they've been kind of inconsistent, but they played well in spots here. They've been competitive the last few weeks, and they beat North Carolina. They, I guess, hung with Virginia, but I just think 19 is a really large number. I think they can score with their quarterback. I can't say his name, but their quarterback is capable of putting some numbers and points on the board. I also would kind of look at the over in that game too, but I would say Cal plus 19.5. The game is a 4 o'clock afternoon Eastern time start, so it's not like Louisville's being asked, or Cal rather is being asked to kick off at 9 a.m. their time. So I'll take Cal plus 19.5. Louisville, I don't know how they have one loss, and it's going to be, you got to win the ACC, it looks like, to get in. So who knows how they're going to be up for every game. And plus a 19.5 point spread suggests that they might come out a little bit, I don't know, bored is the right word, but I like Cal plus 19.5 and maybe the over in that game too. But we'll just say plus 19.5 for Cal.
Okay. Cal 19.5. We'll see if that one gets up to 20 on game day or something like that, or if it goes back the other way. But go ahead and give us your third play from the colleges.
Well, Lee kind of touched on this game, so I think I'll jump to another one here that I kind of have my eye on. Rice and UAB. Rice is at home. They're a 2.5 point favorite over UAB. UAB had their upset win over Memphis. I think that's probably going to be likely their last win of the year. And I expect they kind of face planted last week in their game. So they're only a 2.5 point underdog at Rice. I think Rice at home, who's played a little bit better here recently, is the right play there at -2.5, especially it's less than the field goal. So I'll go with, I think UAB thing is played out. I don't think that team's very good. They've got an interim coach for a reason. So I'll go Rice -2.5.
Okay. William Lee, you've got Cal plus 19.5, Rice minus 2.5. Either of those games you guys have a thought on?
Yeah, I think my only worry with Cal is they've been a little inconsistent through the season. Last week, they probably should have covered against Virginia. Saga, I don't even know, that the
Lefty.
Yeah, lefty.
Yeah.
Lefty throws an interception right there at the end. I had Virginia 5.5, so I was fine with it. But this has been a team that sometimes in the second half and in the first half just kind of starts losing steam, and then things quickly crumble. Louisville is going to be without Isaac Brown, their star running back, one of the best backs in the country. So that might be an adjustment for them, and that might be a reason to take that 18.5. That's a big number. But I just feel like these two teams are in two different places right now. I don't really have a strong side either way, but I mean, you do get a lot of insurance at that 18.5 number.
Yeah. Lee, go ahead and give us you'll be the anchor here. We've got 3 from the other 2, and you sandwiched in there in the middle. So give us your third play from the colleges.
Yeah, let's go with another dog. Give me UConn. This has gone down. I think it's plus 9.5 now. They're hosting Duke. Yeah, this just is playing the spot here. Duke's the betting favorite to win the ACC right now, and this game doesn't mean anything. I mean, they can lose it, and it doesn't matter. And these games that Mora, these are his Super Bowl games. Like the 3 or 4 games he plays against the ACC every year. So I can't get with Duke in this. Like, this is crazy to me. So, yeah, I've got some UConn money line as well, but I think it's 9.5. Might want to check, but yeah, I like UConn a lot.
I like that spot too. That's another one that's going to be completely against the public, and Duke is coming off that huge Clemson win, so definitely makes a lot of sense there. And I misspoke, William. I'm sorry. You only gave us 2 plays so far. Give us your third play from the colleges, and if you've got a thought on the UConn game as well.
Yeah, I like that UConn spot too. I've been eyeing that one throughout the week. This is a Huskies offense that has been really, really good this season. And they got a quarterback in Vanjano that's playing his 7th season of college football. So he's got a ton of experience. And Duke also ranks 127th in the country in passing success rate allowed. So if UConn's able to get it done in the air like they have throughout the season, I mean, this could be a live dog at home on the money line. But in terms of 9.5, I think that would be a good side. And you also mentioned the spot. I mean, Duke could lose this game and not have anything affected for the ACC championship hunt. So I'm definitely looking at UConn as a play. Jim Moore has done a great job with the Huskies this season. Looking at, I'll start with Friday night, and depending on when this goes out, I guess this might be tonight. But I look at Memphis and Tulane. I was really unimpressed with the Green Wave last week at UTSA. They fell on Thursday night to the Roadrunners, and Owen McCown, the son of Josh McCown, had a hell of a night, 31 of 33, absolutely torched this Green Wave defense up. And this is a big spot for Memphis. Obviously, they were mentioned in the college football playoff top 25 this week, but not ranked. And they're playing at home with that hook, and that hook tells me that they're trying to get you to bite on Tulane with a field goal of insurance here. Memphis, when their quarterback has been healthy, they're undefeated this season, and they have cruised and almost they may not cruised in every game. Arkansas was obviously a back and forth affair, but they came back and won against South Florida a couple of weeks back. I think South Florida is a better team than Tulane. And I really like Brevin Lewis. I like, what is it, Cam Sutton? Maybe not Cam Sutton. Sutton Smith at running back for the Tigers. I think this is a good football team. I like him at 3.5 at home Friday night in what will be the biggest game of the season the rest of the way for the Tigers until the AAC championship.
Interesting timing with the news today, though, with Sutterfield. Is that how you say it? Going to be the next coach at Arkansas. All but confirmed, or maybe it has been confirmed by the time you're hearing this. But typically, we've seen when coaches, step up in class, take a big job. Their teams still rally and play for him because they know there's a lot to play for. He may take them with him to Arkansas. We saw, who was it? I think it was Will Wade's McNeese State squad when he took the NC State job. This was March Madness, but similar concept. They just played their tail off, even though they knew he was leaving. So could be. Go ahead.
Well, I will say I think he might have gotten got because he hasn't taken the job yet. He's just the favorite on Kalshi right now. There were a lot of fake accounts today.
I think I may have seen no 3, not on 3.
Correct.
We'll edit that out later. Just kidding. So that rounds us out for the colleges.
Yeah.
And we'll go back up to the top for Bry to give us his first NFL play. That's rather funny. I'm not editing that out, by the way, because one, I don't know how, and Tony's at a hockey game, and I'm not asking Laura to do it. So she's too sweet. I can't even tell her. In case you forgot, Winners and Losers is brought to you by Dos Equis. Go for Dos. Phenomenal for any occasion, whatever you need. I think Lee was the only one who didn't get to go for Dos when we were giving out picks. So actually, Bry, I'm going to jump you. Lee, you'll get to be the leadoff on the NFL, and just make sure you go for Dos this weekend as you're enjoying these games. But go ahead, Lee. Give us your first NFL play.
Yeah, this is really, really gross, but I'm on the Washington football commander team, the Washington football team. Yeah, they're catching 8. They're at home against the Lions. Like I know the team is god awful. Like everybody saw them the other night. They couldn't do anything. But this is just the NFL. This is how this goes. You have to hold your nose and play these teams. I think the Lions. I don't think people realize how bad this Lions offense is starting to get. Like you look at some of their EPA per rush. Like they're not running the ball. Their offensive line is completely destroyed with injuries right now. Like I don't even know. There's a serious chance they're going to have to call, I don't know, guys off the practice squad. I don't know how they fill up an offensive line this week with the injury situation they got going. You got golf going outdoors and potential weather, which his splits are pretty dramatic when you take him out of a dome. So on the other side, obviously Daniels is out, but Mariota, Marcus Mariota's stats are better. Like all of his rankings are better than Jaden Daniels. He's played better quarterback than Jaden Daniels has this year. So I know it's gross, but I think this is too many points. I think Washington's going to compete here. And worst case scenario, I think they lose the game by a touchdown. You still could walk to the window and cash a ticket here. So yeah, I like the home team here catching 8 points.
Got to hold your nose sometimes in the NFL. Couldn't have said it better myself. Either of you two gents have that card or that game on your radar?
I just wonder about the revenge factor for the Lions who got knocked out at home by the Commanders last year, if that would play any kind of a factor. But Lee convinced me that maybe it won't, given their situation.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't do anything offensively against the Vikings in the last week inside. Like I'm telling you, this offensive line is totally beat up. They can't run the ball. It's not what people think about when they think of the Lions. Like I don't think they're not going to roll out there and start throwing the ball up and down the field. I just don't see that happening. So
that offensive line is certainly what made them go when they've been so good the past however many year and a half, 2 years, whatever you want to call it. But we'll see. Washington's defense is certainly not the same caliber as Minnesota. So if I had to lean one way, I would agree with you and say Washington. But even I don't know. That's probably a stay away from me. But you know what? Sometimes you got to put them on the table, Mr. Nashville Lee. Brian, give us your first play from the NFL, sir.
Well, I like the Rams 49ers over 40. Let's see, under 49 points. You've got the 49ers playing with Mac Jones at quarterback still. We don't know about Purdy and his status, so when he'll be back. And the Rams defense is pretty good. I think the 49ers, I think that's going to be a defensive slugfest. I also kind of think the Rams they're going to have, I think the 49ers beat them last time in L.A., so in what seems like a home game for the 49ers somehow, which is kind of funny. But I like the under in this game, 49.5. It's in San Francisco. I don't know that I think the winning team might only have 20 points, so I think the under's the play.
I think the McVay Shanahan series in their 14 regular season games. This may include postseason. I'm not sure. I think the underdog is 13-1 against the spread, which is crazy. So if you're taking an under, you usually like the underdog to cover. But Lee or William, do either of you have that game on your radar? It doesn't have to be the under, but do you have a side in that game?
No. I mean, I lean Niners. I think Shanahan kind of owns McVay. It's that whole circle of life thing that goes around. And Pete Carroll's not in there anymore, but I think Shanahan's had pretty good success against McVay his career. So slight lead towards 49ers, but that's it.
Except for earlier this year, but that was certainly the case leading up to that point. I think as a dog, Shanahan is like 8-0 against.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
so,
crazy.
William, what do you like in the NFL this week?
Yeah, this is kind of another one of these ugly ones, but I'm going to take the Giants at the 4.5 here. I just think it's too many points considering that this Bears team is getting wins, but at the same time, we just see a different version of Caleb Williams every week, and I think this front for the Giants with guys like Dexter Lawrence are going to get into the backfield and make life difficult for him. I've liked what I've seen from Jackson Dart since he took over. I think the Giants have had a little bit more life offensively. Now, obviously, without Cam Scatterbo, things are a little bit different, but I think there's just too many points here. Like the way I look at it, I've got 3 as the number, and I'm getting 1.5 of extra points here on the 4.5. A lot of these lines this week are really similar to what Vegas is giving you. So I like the 4.5, the 4. That's the most value I've seen this week on this week's card. So I know it's kind of gross, but I go Giants here.
Let me ask you this. Is Brian Burns the most underrated player in the NFL over the last, say, 5 years? Like, just guy that's been consistently really good and never gets talked about because he's played for the Panthers and the Giants.
Yeah, I think you hit the head on the nail right there. I mean, playing for the Panthers, he wasn't, really talked about a whole lot because the Panthers were so damn bad, but he was a constant factor for their defense, one of the lone bright spots for them, and ends up in New York. And I feel like this is a pass rush that can definitely get to Caleb Williams and rattle him. I like, you look at it, the Bears are 5-3, right? And they're going up against a 2-7 team. On the surface, it's like, oh, take the team with Ben Johnson, the offensive guru, and Caleb Williams, the former number 1 pick. But I know this game's on the road too, and the Bears play well at Soldier Field. But again, I feel like this is one of these games that is tight-knit, and I think the defensive front that the Giants give is really difficult. And, yeah, I'm right there with you. Brian Burns is definitely an impact. I feel like he's a very underrated player in the league for sure. Throw Josh Hines-Allen in there too. I'd throw him in there in the underrated players. Josh Hines-Allen, my Jaguars guy, is underrated as well.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. We're just going to take it with a grain of salt because the little Homer pick there. I've got no allegiance to the Giants, so just speaking from the brain, not the heart. I'm just kidding. Yeah, he's been great for a while, and just the defense as a whole was so bad the last 2 years. They've been much better this year until they got Brock Bowers a little bit this past weekend, but they pulled it out. I'm going to give 2 out very quickly. I was surprised no one touched on my college play. I'm going Iowa at home, catching 6.5 against Oregon. They've been phenomenal at home in November. I'm not usually super into those type of trends, but when it supports what you lean anyways, Iowa's very tough to beat at home. They gave Indiana, I believe, all they wanted. Was probably the closest game Indiana's had all year. But Iowa's they're always really strong at home. Oregon, we've seen them. If you can throttle them down a little bit, they'll struggle offensively. They're kind of due for a breakout game, which worries me a little bit, but I don't think it comes this week. I think Iowa is a live dog to win outright and really shake up the Big Ten. Similar to how we see an SEC weekend shaking up, which is why you've seen kind of those hold your nose dogs on this card from this panel. It just makes way too much sense. The only thing that's predictable in our sport right now is chaos, so you might as well. But I do like Iowa. And then in the NFL, this is kind of just what I'm going to be doing for the next 4 or 5 weeks is auto press the number on the Ravens. They're laying 4.5 on the road at Minnesota. Minnesota off a huge divisional win against the Lions. J.J. McCarthy was back. The Ravens have gotten a week of updated film on McCarthy. They're still playing catch up to the Steelers, who just came off a huge win. But Lamar's back. They're healthy on defense. They got Kyle Hamilton back, who's one of the best players in the NFL on that side of the ball. Lamar looked phenomenal off the injury, didn't skip a beat. The Ravens got to get going, right? And they have shown no interest in throwing the season away, but they've got some ground to make up. They're somehow still the favorite, or they were. Maybe with the Steelers win, I haven't looked, but they were still the favorite to win the division as of last week. I imagine they still got some juice just to make the playoffs. But the Ravens will get in regardless, and nobody will want to see them. But they seem to be getting healthy at the right time, and Isaiah Likely being back at tight end gives them a little bit more versatility there as well. Minnesota is scary. It's a really good defense, phenomenal coaching staff. But I'm going to auto take the Ravens just because they're in a spot where they need to win, and they're a really, really, really good NFL football team that maybe it'll take a couple weeks to adjust back on. Maybe not. We'll see. Maybe the price is right on that 4.5, but I could see the Ravens running away with this one with just too much if they're able to confuse McCarthy for a couple quarters. But we'll see. Anybody have any thoughts on those two picks real quick before we throw together our power plays and get out the door?
Yeah, honestly, both of them. I do look at Iowa, too. That was a play I considered throwing out there. My only worry is I feel like it's going to be really, really public on Saturday with a lot of people kind of having the same mindset. And Oregon hasn't looked great. But, look, Iowa does play well at home. They do have a really good defense. Gronowski has added a somewhat of a level of quarterback play to them. He hasn't really necessarily done it in the air, but he is really good on the ground and has shown that throughout the season. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a little bit too public for me to take, but we'll see what it ends up looking like Saturday morning. So I could definitely see Iowa plus 6.5 being a play. And then for the Ravens, yeah, I almost considered playing that one as well. I think J.J. McCarthy's kind of a mess. There's a reason why they continue to roll with Carson Wentz, even when McCarthy was seemingly good to go. But they just kind of continue to hold him out because I didn't think they loved what they saw early in the season. And you're going up against the Ravens team with their back against the wall, basically. Like, they have to go on a run here. They have to string off wins. When they're playing at the level we've seen since Lamar has been back, they're a really tough team to beat. And I know Minnesota's got a good defense, but I just think it's too desperate of a spot not to take the Ravens. And I still have a ton of questions about McCarthy and his fitness in the NFL as a starting quarterback.
Fair enough. All right, let's run through.
Hey, real quick on that
plays.
Iowa game. Iowa game, that total dropped like 4 points today. It's down to like 40. So I think if you're catching like almost a touchdown, I think those are some really valuable points with the game with a total of like 40. There's projected weather like wind, like rain turn into snow, like slushy, like that could get kind of ugly in Iowa, which I think probably favors Iowa a little bit. And that I'm waiting just to see if this gets to 7. I'll probably pull the trigger on Iowa if it doesn't at 6.5, but I'm just gonna wait and see if I can possibly get a 7 on it.
Yeah, weather and wind is music to anybody who's on Iowa's ears, for sure. I'm not saying that a Dan Lanning team can't perform well, but just for that type of game flow, certainly favors Iowa to keep it close, even if they aren't able to win outright. If you're getting 6.5, you take all the weather you can get. Let's run through it real quick. Bry is on Coastal minus 7.5, Cal plus 19.5, Rice minus 2.5. He's got under 49 in 49ers Rams. Nashville Lee has Mizzou plus the 7, Auburn plus 6.5, UConn plus 9.5, Washington plus 8. William Pattison from Fan Run Radio, who does a phenomenal job, by the way. Texas Tech minus 10.5, Notre Dame minus 26.5, Memphis minus 3.5, Giants plus the 4.5. The one difference between me hosting, well, there's a lot of differences, but maybe the only positive difference in me hosting and Tony hosting is that when I read back the lines that you gave out, I'll read back the actual line that you gave out because Tony will miss you by a half point here or there. Or maybe a full point sometimes. You give it a 2.5 and he'll read off like 4 and you're like, whoa, I didn't give out no 4.5. But anyway, sorry, Tony. We had to take at least one jab at you while you're on holiday. I hope you're enjoying that.
A tradition as old as time. He's been doing that for 7 years on this podcast. You give out Iowa plus 6.5, and then he reads out Iowa minus 8.
Yeah. The right team at least. Anyways, let's give out 4 power plays. We've gotta make up for the sweep last week. Again, it was Tennessee, it was Rice, and it was the Jags. Tennessee should have won that game. They dominated. I'm sure people are probably tired of talking about that one by now. The Jags was kind of tough luck in overtime. They won the game outright but didn't cover. And then Rice just fell behind Memphis. And when you get punched in the mouth like that and you're not the better team, it's tough. But let's sweep this week. I think if I had to decide on my own for the first one, I would say we were most consensus on Texas Tech minus 10.5. That would be my first suggestion. Are there any objections to Texas Tech minus the 10.5?
No, that's perfect.
Yeah, I love that one. That's probably my favorite one of the week, to be honest.
All righty. We lock that one in. I'm writing these down so that we can give a good report card to the professor, Tony Basilio, when he gets back. You know how substitute teachers write a behavior report? Well, we're giving him the answers to the test so that when he gets back, he can get in on all these with us, or at least watch it back. But were there any other games that you guys had in mind for a power play? I think we all pretty much agreed on Auburn. Do we want to fade Vandy this week? Or I kind of like to mix it up and go one favorite, one dog, one favorite, one dog. But we don't have to do it that way.
I like the Iowa one that you guys brought up.
Iowa?
Yeah, I'd probably go with Iowa here too, because at least they're playing at home, and they have a running quarterback that can at least make plays. Auburn has a hell of a defense, but Ashton Daniels isn't doing it for me. He didn't do it last week against Kentucky. Jackson Arnold, I think, is a pretty much one-trick pony as well. So if we're going to take a dog at that kind of similar spot of the plus 6.5, I'd rather take the team at home in November in cold weather with a team traveling across the country with a good defense and a quarterback that at least has somewhat of an identity. I would go Iowa if we're going to take a dog.
Yeah. Usually when we're like, well, we need to find a little bit more offense, I usually turn to Iowa as well.
Yeah.
I gave it out. I can make fun of it. Okay. Obviously, like Iowa, that was one of mine. I had another thought, but I forgot it. So we'll move right along. Any objections to Coastal? I really liked that play.
No, I co-sign Coastal. I like this team a lot. I think it's not going to be like, I don't worry about like public-private splits too much and all this kind of stuff. Like, it doesn't really ever faze me, but that game's going to fly under the radar regardless. Like, I don't think many people are like waking up like, I can't wait to bet Coastal today, But no, I think they're a sneaky team right now. They're playing really well. I like that.
I was in the Grayson McCall, Jamie Caldwell era for sure, but kind of lost their luster a little bit. Okay, so we've got our 3 power plays from the colleges. Again, that's Texas Tech minus the 10.5 over undefeated BYU. Iowa plus the 6.5 over number 6 ranked Oregon Ducks. And then Coastal minus the 7.5 against a reeling Georgia State team. That one, ideally for us, would get out of hand early. Let's pick a power play from the NFL. Our 4 choices are under 49.5. Niners Rams, courtesy of Mr. Hartman. Washington plus 8, courtesy of Nashville Lee. Giants plus 4.5, courtesy of William Patterson. Or Ravens minus 4.5, courtesy of the Shepherd Will Heflin.
I kind of like the Ravens.
That's a lot of pressure. I'm going to come in here and sit in Tony Basilio's chair and then take 2 of the power plays That's a lot for 1 week, Brian.
Well, I know you can handle it.
We used
it's easier for
Williams
people to
Texas
stomach.
Tech. It is easier for people to stomach, Lee, but we need winners. That's the name of the show. Look, we took Coastal from Brian. We took Iowa from me. We took Texas Tech from William. We'll take Washington +8 from Nashville Lee as our NFL power play. Look, we've got one from the four of us. We're the four horsemen. Pinch hitting for Tony Basilio. That's a 4-0 week if I've ever seen one. Again,
no pressure on Sunday. When y'all go 3-0, there's no pressure on me to get Washington home at all on Sunday.
Yeah, if we're 1-2, the pressure's all on. We're just trying to get back close to even minus the juice.
Yeah. No, I'm good with it. I think it's good.
Yeah, I like it. I feel good about it. So again, Texas Tech -10.5, Iowa +6.5, Coastal -7.5. Sean's up. Washington +8 at home against Detroit. Winners and losers is brought to you by our friends at Dos Equis. Always go for Dos. And our friends at VIP Play. If you don't have an account over there yet, sign up using code TNVIPS. No Tony today, so I'm going to plug my own code, TNVIPS. Bet $20, get $100 in bonus bets. Got to be 21 and in the state of Tennessee to bet. There's another sweepstakes going on this weekend. We're giving away $500 in bonus bets or tickets to any college game you want for the rest of the year. Regular season, the last few weeks, you got rivalry week coming up, either Tennessee Vandy, or if you want to go somewhere, you want to go to Georgia Tech, you want to go to what's another good one? The Iron Bowl, Auburn Bama. You want to go to the Big House and see Ohio State, Michigan. We'll send you. So enter that sweepstakes online or place bets. You can enter both methods will count as entries. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm tired of talking. I appreciate you guys a ton. Mr. William Pattison, hope you have a wonderful weekend. You've just finished your Friday show. That was awesome. Good job, man. Nashville Lee, may all your nasty dogs holding your nose win outright or at least cover, because we all know good teams win, great teams cover. And Mr. Brian Hartman, hope your Shants handle business. And we also certainly hope that Rice plays a little bit better than they did last week. For Tony Basilio, this is Winners and Losers. And for everybody else, I'm Will Heflin. Have a wonderful weekend.